balanced across the planet, on this planet ever, maybe in the universe. You have the full potential of achieving everything in the universe. There is no need and there is no reason for man not to achieve. So, wherever you are, the way I taught you to make the coils double coil inside, you have continuous equal gravitational magnetic field, and if you put CO2 on it, and you put zinc on it, you have connected the emotion of the man to it on a stable condition, and you'll find out you become a very peaceful man. Here, galaxies and universes and creating connection magnetically, we have used the matter state gravitational magnetic field strength to dominate and dictate the shape of the plasma. The nano-technology, the nano-material which you have collectively developed in different ways, by caustic, by electric currents, by whatever, fire or whatever, has that advantage that the matter, the nano, and the plasma is all the same. So connection is very solid. It's very strong. The power of the plasma technology, the way we have thought, is beyond imagination of the man. Now you can create and control the plasma, which is the mother of the creation of the universe. You are given the seed of the essence of the creation. The foundation does not belong to no one and is not made of one anymore. You are developing it. You are structuring it. And from today, we will be still the same. We'll still develop the technology in different names, in different colors, in different nationalities which they do not exist. It is beautiful when we see the Christian, the Muslims, the Jews, and every other belief are working together to build up systems. We have already become one faith. We already have become one nation, and we already become one planet. You got to remember one thing. Dates is irrelevant. Today is the last day of the Christian calendar, or tomorrow is the beginning of another. One day is connected to another. We don't stop. We are working around the clock. The Keshe Foundation team is working irrespective of time, position, religion, country. And now we achieve what we set out for.
Welcome everyone to the 112th Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. It's May 5th, 2016, and once again we're gathered here to listen and participate with knowledge seekers from around the world. And our favorite knowledge seeker, Mr. Keshe, is here once again to lead us through today's teaching. I understand we have a presentation from Norway, from Thorjan as well, to have a look at, and various other presentations as we go on here. Okay, my name's Rick Crammond as your host, and I think we're ready to go. Are you there, Mr. Kesh?
Yes, good morning, good day to you as usual, wherever and whenever you're listening to these teachings. Um, as normal way, which we start our Thursday teaching, we go back to normal Tuesday and Thursday teachings from next week. Uh, in the teachings of today, we're going to learn more. There's a number of new information which needs to be shared. One of the important parts, which is a lot of you have been involved in for past few months, is the maglev units. We've seen a lot of people from the beginning made the mistake and put the maglev systems in the middle of the room, and they put a meter in the back and the front of it. They said it doesn't take anything. And we kept on telling you, you have to read your meter, not your governed meter, not what you do and you put a system in the middle. This system energizes responses to the high voltage which comes at a point of the three-phase or a double phase of the meter, and not at your system. We've seen a lot of people doing this checking and confirming that we are correct. So people like the governmental officials which they took the unit and stuck it in the middle of the room and put a meter before it and some load, and after then they say it doesn't work, it showed that they never understood how to operate the system. We tried to explain it again, and it seems that trend had stayed with a lot of people. The system works by the high pressure plasma transfer from electron to plasma. For this reason, when we gave units, for example, to the number of governments and they took the units to the lab, the scientists never understood the new technology. They just put a system in the middle and they did the checking, and they said it doesn't work. But on the other hand, they say they are happier people, and then they said we do not see any difference, because they never understood the plasma technology, and lack of understanding by the scientists created such a confusion, because they come from a normal electrical current field and not from the plasma. So those of you like the scientists in Chinese laboratories, in Armenian government offices, and the others which you gave the unit to and you did this, you found out it doesn't work, because you need to connect it to a higher power, not in the middle of the system. What happened beyond the meter, you get the reduction, because it's feeding the rest of the building. We have seen two small power units set up in a special way has affected a 6 megawatt system, increases the power by 10% in less than a week. We have the data for it. It's now fully computer's data. We have the scientific confirmation of the increase of the power through the system. We have now have a data that if you have a solar panel system in the house plus the normal electricity connection from the grid, you reduce your power consumption from the grid, which is made in the nighttime, by about 50%. Yeah, about 50%, and more, 54, what data we have for 1 month, full month testing. And then your maglev unit will affect your solar panels, which means now you produce more energy from your solar panel, which you feed into the grid, which that is about 30% around after a month. So we expect this to build up to about 50%. So now what it is, people who had the system and they claim it doesn't work because they put the meter in front of the back, showed the lack of understanding, especially scientists at the governmental level who never understood, and we kept on repeating. You have, if you're testing as scientists, government scientists, you put a maglev system in a house and you watch the meter and you see what happens. If you remember, initially when we started, you got to realize one thing. We are doing this development collectively as knowledge seekers around the world. And as usual, when you start, a technology and a system on this scale, what you do, you start in a cautious footing. We started what we call with conditioning. We ask you to start with something like 200 watt use unit and then increase it to around 1200 over a month, and then your system has started. Those who read their meter, they've seen the reduction. Then about a few weeks ago, we announced that the system now, because we understand more, we have thousands outside, people reporting back, we're getting data. We announced instead of using to 1200, you can change your load directly to maximum 500. You don't need to go to these values for a month condition and then bring it down. So you could put a constant 500 watt on the load side of your maglev unit. So this gave you something like 6 kilowatt use, no more, about 12 kilowatt usage per day extra. But you get 30% reduction on the overall. A lot of people had problem creating 500 watt. Now we have a new news for you. From today, from what we see the data coming in, if you use the normal GaNs coated and if you use more of what we do in our structure in the factory of copper oxide GaNs coating, still in a water condition, from today you can connect your system to a 15 watt LED light. It's important, LED light. So from today, when you get your system, you don't need to add anything else. You plug it in to the main, take in consideration the phase, which is connected on the socket, and then all you need to do is to add a 15 watt LED light to your unit, nothing else. In the new units, which will leave the factory from next week, we give you only one option. What it is, up to now, if you receive the unit, you have the unit which you plugged into the wall, and you have a line which gave you a European socket or whatever to connect a load to it. From now on, what you get from us is a light bulb connector. So all you need to do when you get your system delivered from next week, all the orders going out, you get a light bulb connection. If you still get the socket, the previous, what we call the second generation, all you need to do, connect it to a table line. We are working on, because we see other results from the power unit, is that we'll change the maglev unit to a tabletop lamp system, which means you only need to plug it on into the main and you have a light on. You can use it as a decorative piece, whatever you like, around the house, because they work this way. From now on, all you need to do, single plug line, will come into operation from next week, or next, what they call it, the light connection will come from next week. Now we are redesigning the maglev unit to be used as a decoration item, because that's all it needs to do. But there is a further development. We announced this in the next few days. We've seen one test result in the past 24 hours. We elaborate on it. If we are correct, we're testing. The Innovation Center is working on it. Hopefully we have some answer today from them or tomorrow, where you only get maglev unit with one line only. There is no load on it. The system was tested this morning. We see it. The difference here, if you are correct, the new setup, the new arrangement, we don't disclose the inside till we 100% test it. At the moment, you wait for, let's say, 4 or 5 weeks till you receive your bill. With this system, what we've seen, and if you are correct, within the first 24 hours, if it's correct, you should see the meter in the house to reduce to 100% stop. We've seen this in operation in the past 24 hours, and if we can repeat it in 3 consecutive tests, which is going on with our team, innovation team, it means your reduction from the system will be automatic as you plug it in. What we've seen within the first 10 minutes, immediate reduction. But we have to test, we have to check that there are no parameters that we need to change in the construction. I devised this system in the past 48 hours, and the Innovation Center guys are testing it. The first test shows correct. We see some most probably what we need to adjust, but the minute you do, you connect, you see the power supply, your supply from the grid literally comes to a halt in 24 hours or to a very, very minimum amount. We've seen this in Africa. But now, for the first time, now that we have come step by step, we should be in a position to, this is 15-watt light system is already on the table. You're going to get this 100%. This, we are extending the knowledge. The knowledge has been extended. I developed this last night. We went through the innovation people live. We did the test online, and it works. But there are some parameters. We have to understand how the parameters change in the structure. What you're going to get is a unit which you just need to add it to the grid. And the system automatically kicks from what we've seen in the past 24 hours test into a plasma power supply, which means 100%, or let's say 90% of total usage AC/DC. If we are correct with this, we announce it by next week, hopefully. If we see a breakthrough, we make an emergency blueprint presentation within the next 7 days, which means your system automatically become self-sufficient, but you still need a grid point. Innovation Center is working on a system now, which we already explained. We see 1 or 2 kilowatt power supply with 190 volt, 11 amp. Maybe we connect the two together. Within the next few weeks, we will have the power generator we've been looking for. This is a dedication from the Innovation Center. They worked very hard, and last night till 2 or 3 o'clock this morning, it was online. We checked, test is done live. So what the result we tell you is literally few hours old. No organization releases information and technology so rapidly. It's off the table. We have what we've seen achieved to produce 100% reduction, or at least 90% reduction. What we see, we have to run. There are 3 different people setting up 3 different systems around the innovation system to see if it's correct. If we are correct, next week we tell you how to do it. Is an adjustment to a MAGRAF system. You totally use a plasma energy, but this modification of the 15 watt is 100%. You can carry on with that. If you made a MAGRAF system and you make a special mixture which is higher in the GaNs of copper oxide, GaNs or GaNs water mixture with GaNs, you will get a system. What's going to happen? This will take about a month to kick in fully. In our trial, what we've seen in the house condition, where in the first 3 days of the same week, what we did, we took a Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and over 3 weeks, we looked at the consumption over 3 weeks. The first week, we see 28 kilowatt usage. Second week, we see 30 kilowatt usage. And third week, where we added the 15 watt light bulb as a supply, we are to 24 watt. And we see a reduction. This will come to somewhere around 18, maybe 15 kilowatt hour. So we achieve 50% reduction. This is in a house which is normal. Daily meterage has been taken. The meter has a 3 reading, morning high rate, during the afternoon, which is a low rate, and nighttime, which is a cheaper rate. So we are taking across all 3. We see it, we're expecting it. This, with another test which we done, confirms you cannot use any more complicated system. Use your magnetic system if you already produced it with a gas water of more of copper oxide, which releases higher energy to the nanomaterial. This is what we do in the factory. That's why the systems work. And you will see you can use only 15 watts. Do not, instead of seeing the result, let's say immediately, you see the result gradually building up over 30, 60 days. But this way, every man in the house can use. You don't need to find a heavy voltage or heaters or whatever. Now we made it possible. We are looking at another direction where it gives a lot of power into what we are doing on the solar system side. We are looking possible, if you are solar system people who understand it, at the moment, the most efficient system, solar system, we've been told by people who are at it, Sandor can tell you because he's been in the solar system for a long time, the most efficient, hello, are we lost? Are we back?
There's a lot of static. There's a lot of static in the system, Mr. K.
Hello? What have you done? You are disconnected.
No, it's
You can
working.
hear me.
A lot of static and popping and so on happening.
Yeah, we lost the head of the microphone. Can we use the other system? Can we use the other system? We have 2 of these.
Yeah, but the other is
Worse, is it? So we need a new one.
not so.
Most probably. Okay. We're trying to see. It's perfect. Everything is perfect. Our chafing is perfect. Is it okay now? Okay. I stay frozen. So that's impossible. How can it be? We'll try. So what we know from Sandor, the most efficient solar panels at this moment are about 250 watt a panel. You're working on this. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'd like to correct the most used at present time.
The most used.
We are coming with higher efficiency, but with much higher cost. And the cost effective, it's around 250 watts per 1.7 square meters.
So am I correct to say 250 watts is the one which is used now in industry?
Yes, yes, it's
Okay.
industry standard.
Okay. You got to understand, Sandor has been in solar business for a long time. He designs how to fit them on the roofs and then they do it. So we say 1 kilowatt per 4 panel. What we're trying to do, we are trying to create a 4 panel of about 2 kilowatts to increase the efficiency. There is a way it can be done. And so if you do it, we'll announce it. You've got the solar system at home or announce a new market to be opened by the solar people. But from what we see with the 2 6 megawatt solar systems here on the premises of the Keshe Foundation, one connected, one not, we have seen 10% increase in the first week of adding 2 systems to it. And what we've seen with the house connection, we've seen on about 30% increase in the production of solar cells. What it'll be interesting is that if we use the new system, which is direct system, as I mentioned here, we can increase the efficiency of the solar panels by at least huge margin. Because you got to understand the process, we explain it, we convert, we trigger the plasma through electron vibration. It's a new connection, and a lot of you have seen it. You know what we're talking about. So this is important. This goes back especially to the scientists in Chinese laboratory, in the government laboratories, which they put a unit in the middle of the room and connected some load, and they start measuring it and they don't see it because beyond their meter, they are getting the reduction. It'll be interesting to ask the institute, can you see your meter reading before and after since you put the meter in? This is how systems will work, and they should be able to see it. From those of you who were looking for Keshe Foundation MAGRAPH systems as distributors, some of you who wanted to import it into your country, we have and we are achieving SGS certificate export, which means the system is checked, is confirmed to be according to the European standard, and it does what it says in power generation, in what it does. So we soon release to those who are interested SGS certificate confirmation. So this is important for us. This is very important because in achieving now reduction in 15 watt, this becomes usable for anyone, anywhere. You don't need to, because now what you add is 15 watt, 24 hours, is literally around every 3 days, 1 kilowatt of usage, but the saving which it brings back is huge in comparison. We know, we have seen data from those who know, from tests by our American military people. They put one into their house to see if it actually works, and the data says yes, bill has reduced from 200 and something to 100 and something. We see 30–40% reduction. So they wanted to test it. Now the results are coming out, and as I said, we advise the Chinese government officials which received the units and they said they're not working, we send them a new one. The systems are working, connected into a house, not into a big structure, where the potential difference is the trigger. Can work, and then you see the reduction and creation of the energy from the plasma. Now, we come to another important point, which in the coming days, we announce it today, but in the coming days you can join in. First of all, after the success of the Dubai conference, the Rome conference has been set for the 9th, 10th of September. 9th is a Friday, 10th is a Saturday. We have booked the hotel accommodation in Rome from the 8th to the 11th. The same condition applies as before. We have a limited accommodation in 2 hotels for a number of people. As before, due to what we saw in Dubai for security reasons, we will not disclose the position till 5 days before, and you can book from today. It's put on the website. It's on the website, you can book. We will close these bookings very rapidly. So if you want to attend the conference in Rome, One Nation, One Planet, One Race, the second conference, and meet the Universal Council, which has been selected by themselves, and the additional members of the Universal Council to be selected by those who attend, is on this day. Everything has been put on, and you can go and book from today. The presentation in September will be very extensive. It's a literally 72-hour conference. We have made arrangement that we try to keep the conference open from literally Thursday night till Sunday night, round the clock. This hotel accommodation allows us such a thing. It's totally isolated inside the hotel. We don't interfere with anyone. We can do the conference, the teaching, people who want to ask questions, and hopefully this time we don't have the problem as before, as we did with the ambassadorial meeting. We are home, we are in Italy, and we are safe. We should be able to attend, and I will personally try to be there to put everything, every question, everything in order that we know where we go and how we do. There is an additional important announcement. Please listen very carefully, and there is no mistake. We don't explain and we don't talk about what is going on at a high level research in the background. What is achieved in the public domain, we release information. We do not release information in the dimensions, in the directions which does not concern or involves people from outside. The Keshe Foundation Space Research Institute and the Space Institute announces this very clearly. From today, we are looking for up to 1,000 people who would like to be the first passengers of the spaceship technology into space. From 1st of October, we start training up to 1,000 people in a full space technology in every aspect to be prepared for the first departure. We have achieved everything which we wanted. On the back of the second Universal Council, we are looking for what we put in the book as motions. Man from the planet Earth into space. We train not astronauts, we train humanity in a special way. I will be teaching, developing, testing every day from 1st of October this year. Sometime in October we announce which day we start, where is going to be the location. 1,000 people who would like to be the first people in space using maglev technology. We have achieved full lift, full protection, and now we allow you as public to become as part of the technology. This is a full training teaching. It is a more or less 24-hour work involvement. We expect by the end of the teaching, those who are and can stay and be within the framework of the ethos of the Keshe Foundation to be able to build and depart in the coming weeks afterwards. We teach every aspect in how to speak, how to communicate, how to build systems, how to receive energy, how to create magnetic fields for destination, every aspect. If you want to become an astronaut nowadays, you go through a process of selection for years, and only a few elite have become astronauts. This way, every man who thinks has the ethos of this peace in the space becomes an astronaut. Becomes what we call motions. You'll be trained in full aspects. I'll be personally involved in everyday training and everyday development till we achieve majority understanding, development, and flight tests. We are looking for man of space, man of peace. We have a number of governments who have already committed a number of people into this program. We don't announce anything outside. So we are looking for up to 1,000. Even if it's more, we make it more public because we can teach as many as possible. The fee for education. Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, loud and clear, Mr. Keshe.
Yes. The fee for what we call as donation to become the first man into space has been put at 10,000 euro. We announced originally in 2016 we will achieve this. We put the fee about 19,950 euro some years ago. Due to simplicity and the time consumption of teaching and development, and now what we have achieved, the tuition fee and to make you ready for a space has been put at 10,000 euro. The same way you can go, the webmaster will announce to where you got to go in a few seconds because he's setting up the what you call the email for it. You go into the shop, you sign yourself, want to be, the payment is very direct. We close this very soon because we already have a large number of people who've been waiting to become people of a space. So this is to cover all expenses. You literally, we give you 3 months, the accommodation and your everything expenses is your responsibility. We give you a total field, total environment to be able to survive in a space on your own, which means you will become man of medicine of a space. You become man of food production of a space. You become every aspect. Some of this technology is already in open. The most important and final bits will be disclosed in the teaching. For one reason, we are on target. We might even show a spaceship before October. This is something we've been asked by the officials, can you bring this out because it's time for it? I've received a request from the Chinese military to open the books. We respond to your request. The heads of military in China, the head of space agencies in China, and to His Excellency President Xi. We will demonstrate the UFO, what you call a spaceship, in the coming time, as will enforce the peace. This request was received, and publicly we respond to the office of His Excellency President Xi and head of military in China. We will demonstrate. The response is very simple. We work with the nations who work for peace, and in that level, we respond when we are requested and asked correctly. We will not show games, we will show a full system. We teach that you make the systems. So, from today, you can go on the Keshe Foundation website, like a student, enroll to become Mojon's man, magnetic gravitationally zone, created, a spaceman in space. I hope the Chinese readers are happy with the response of the Keshe Foundation in their request to open the books, and we respond accordingly. This is important. This is important as we start teaching the top military people and top space people from Chinese government directly from the offices of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, and we invite the other nations to join us. We invited and will invite further nations to assemble for the full development by their own scientists and not by us. This is the pattern we chose because this way there is no ambiguity and there is no other things. We did the magnet system with you, we did the medical application with you, now we do initially the space travel and facilities and the system with the military to show that they're equal and there is no need for war. And as I said, in response to head of the Chinese military and space technology, we accept the challenge. As you wanted to go public with it, we go public with it. And we train the man of military first to be able to assure security and peace, as is the ethos of the Chinese government. We come to another important point. Vince, have you set up the link for the teaching that you can announce it?
So what I think we should do is go through the shop like you had just said, and we can provide the information through that email address as people do their product.
You just book in, you pay the donation, and you'll be informed of the place, the time, and the teaching. Be prepared for 3 months of more or less isolation in understanding, developing, living, and being able to develop the whole system facilities. You cannot get up and go. A lot of you have done a lot of work pieces around the foundation. Now, in 3 months, we make man of a space out of man of planet. It's your job. If you see you wanted to go, you can go to Richard Branson and pay $250,000 and still wait for another 5 years. Or you can pay $10,000, get your hand dirty, build the systems, be the passengers, you decide the destination, and you decide how and who you want to travel with. It's what we call man-made car. You make your own system. You made your MAGRAPH system. One of the reasons I start teaching this way was that you get the self-confidence that things can be done. Things can be done. You've seen it. You wanted the MAGRAPH. We've seen the health application. We've seen everything else. Speaking about the health, doctors.cashfoundation.org is opened by Vince as a point where you can go at doctors@cashfoundation.org, send your request. You want to be the doctors as students to learn, to become. This section, we monitor. You have to be a doctor. We have to have a clear condition. We do not allow and we do not accept at this stage alternative doctors, homeopath and the rest, because we are going into detail. We have run 2 or 3 sessions of this with Innovation Center in Philippines. We have run a test trial last Saturday in Austria, and from Wednesday the 18th at 2 o'clock, we start training doctors to use what to do, and we are not doing any theoretical cases. If you're a doctor, you bring your case on the table. We allow 10 or 15 minutes per case. All the teachings are recorded. The gentleman, a lot of you know from Austria, is heading the Cash Foundation Doctors Teaching. Dr. Klaus will come on around next Thursday and explain to the doctors how you can come in, what you can do, your registration and the checking, and all the cases will be recorded and only be accessible through secure means on platform of the Cash Foundation servers. Which means if you have a case, you're a doctor, you can bring, say this is the case, this is the nearest to what is on the table, and you can compare how you can help your patients. We are not in the process of teaching. We will elaborate on the theory behind it, that we have like a group in Austria who showed you the vertical systems. They've been very good at it. The Chinese team, the Innovation Center. When we speak with the doctors about the unit or a system or the technology which can be used for a given specific condition, health condition, the innovation centers and the teams which are in this field will build the systems for the doctors for their patients. So we work now, start gathering everything together. We will add to the number of the people in Innovation Center headed by Renan and learning. So we build up that in response to the doctors, as they did in Philippines, building a system for the child or for a patient in the hospital, university. Now the innovation centers and the people who become expert in producing these systems, doesn't matter from which country you are, you will be paid to build systems according to the standard we ask to be tested by the doctors for their patients. Because a lot of doctors understand the technology, but they cannot produce the systems for it. So we try to make a structure. This is the job of Dr. Klaus, which will bring out that we link the people who can produce systems with the doctors which can use it, and everything will be well done, well documented. We have seen a full documentation on Saturday by a doctor who in Austria who has already started using the GANs for one of his patients. Everything methodically is done. This doctor has been to Nino 3-4 years ago with a couple of patients, and so there are the people who understand the technology. A number of doctors have shown interest to become part of it. Now we teach you very directly. After October, these doctors and their cases become part of the structure of the teaching to the what we call mojans, which means if we need, we ask them to come in to explain what is the benefit, how you can use it in the space if you need, and everything else they've seen. So we bring scientists to back up the teachings that you can see the same with energy and everything else. So in that sense, we have fulfilled the commitment to start teaching doctors to be able to use it. Giovanni says, I have 3 doctors waiting. But we know more on the wings of the Keshe Foundation. They've been waiting for years to be able to apply, and now we have seen huge development. We allow you to become doctors who can use the technology and backed by the scientists. As we said in the last teachings, we have put in motion for certification and licensing of the liquid GANs of different structures for health application as supplements. Some of you have entered into the trial. Now, as I said before, hopefully within the next few weeks, we will have the licenses, appropriate licenses, and the first productions will be in Italy. This is the guarantee we gave to the group that they want the production to be in the Bari area because they have their connections, they are from this area. They are well known in the alternative, what we call medical supplements, health supplements, and we received support from a number of organizations to feed this. It will create a lot of jobs in Italy. And then we allow the other Keshe Foundations around the world to produce. We are inviting the pharmaceuticals to join us. This is what they said on the table with us. This is the second, third meeting we had with them in the past 5 or 6 months. And they have the connections to bring international pharmaceutical groups in or retail groups to market this very rapidly. All the products will carry the KFSSI label, which means you know what you get, where it comes from. And we will produce on the certification, as we've done with the MAGRA unit, with the health unit, all the products directly from Italy and Tokyo. The head of what we call liquid plasma for supplements and health will be headed by Japan, by what we call Mr. Khan, which a lot of you met and you've seen him. And everything will be documented, will be gathered in Japan on the Keshe Foundation service to be set up in the Far East, and will report on a daily, weekly basis. You can see what are the facts, what are the conditions, what has been achieved. This is one of the transparencies of the Keshe Foundation. We can do because we have you as our supporters to share knowledge unconditionally. It is important that we understand fully you are not paying for the material, you are paying to be part of the research, gathering data. We do not pay, you pay to help humanity. This is how you have supported the foundation, and this is how you receive support. Those of you who produce systems on your own and you try to sell, we warn you, please try to get a certification for your product. MAGA system of the Keshe Foundation certification only applies to the Keshe Foundation, Italy. We cannot transfer our certificate even into Germany, Keshe Foundation manufacturing. So those of you who start producing pens, pads, and other things, make sure you have certification for your products. Do not get yourself into problem. This is important. If you look on every product which we put out, we have CE certification. Make sure. We've seen a lot of people setting MAGRAPH systems, what we call here and there, making some, and then when it runs into problem, they write to us, oh, we made the MAGRAPH system to our customers and it's wrong. I ask a simple question. Has it come from the Keshe Foundation Italy factory? No. So we are not responsible. There are a lot of crooks, there are a lot of people who are doing a lot of things for themselves in different fields of industry. We cannot allow this into the work, and please, if you are even selling pens, make sure everything is legally, license-wise in order. We cannot transfer our license from the Keshe Foundation, our certificate, to anywhere else. We can produce as many factories in Italy as we like under our banner because it's the same company. But we cannot transfer it to another company which we have nothing to do with in Italy even. So we hear people offering this and that, the pen and the others. These, please, apply for a license. It has to be checked, and we know some have already been rejected because everything we do, when you see the pen, it be kept precise, exact process of manufacturing as it's been submitted for licensing. We cannot change it. The products of the pen and the pad carries a health equipment certification class 2, which means doctors can prescribe it. You can get paid by the insurance company anywhere in EU. If you do not sell the products which we sell, you have to attain certification. In a coming time, very soon, on the same basis, Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute, will apply for flight certification for our spaceship. Because we are in that position, we will apply this time, because this is how they stopped us showing the flying cars and the spaceship in Belgium. The man told me a very nice thing. He said, it flies. Do you have a certificate for it? No. Then you can't fly it. You cannot move from here. Give us all the radioactive materials. That's how, and they blocked it in my lab. If I was a criminal, they should have taken it. But they took all the radioactive material which could create the flight, and they locked it in my lab, and they called me a terrorist. And then they thought they stopped the process. Now there are millions of you who knows what's doing. So in a coming time, in a very short time, Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute will apply for an international flight license for our flight system, which means no government can stop. We can produce a system, they can test it, if they are correct in their conduct. If they are there to do what they call destroy the process, they will not even be able to get on the flight. You all understand the process. So in the coming weeks, we will apply for international flight tests of the system. We will declare the path and the position of the flight that we do not cause any problem. And this is to be ready for the October teaching. Everything is in order and in process. There is a question which has been asked from me in respect what we called about the earthquakes around the world. We're still seeing the position. We wait for the autumn now and see what autumn brings in the change of the position. I have received, and I explained, a lot of people had concerns about radioactivity, nuclear reactors if get damaged in America or other part of the world. And we showed you the test shield and the shielding of the system, of the MAGRAPH system, which you have to create. We teach you more precise in the coming time. I've received a request. We see a possibility of a nuclear disaster in the country of Belgium. The Belgian government and the Dutch government in the past 2 weeks have started distributing the iodium tablets on the basis of a possible terrorist attack on the 3 Belgian nuclear reactors. Our response is very simple. If the Belgian nation goes such a threat, the Keshe Foundation is here to support you. We teach you everything you need to do. You've seen a lot of the places. Start applying what we showed with the spheres, with the liquid gas, and the start protection. We are not concerned. It is not our job to understand if it's going to happen, what is going to happen, who's going to do what. Our concern is the safety of the public and the knowledge we have. Remember one thing. Keep a gans of CO2, a gans of CH3, and a gans of copper oxide always as a package emergency with you. If you receive nuclear radiation contamination, all you need to do to take the water of the gans, not the gans itself, on the regular dosages of 1 teaspoon per day, 3 times a day. Whatever might come into your body will be rejected. We know this from the research and development of TEPCO in Japan. This is scientific data. If you come under destruction of the bone cells, if you come to the point where the radiation could be touching your body in case of emergency, not only in Belgium, but anywhere around the world, make a bath of water, warm luke water, not hot, not cold. Create 20 to 60 milliliter of gas of CO2. Please listen. No other thing but gas of CO2. Put it in a 5-liter water, distilled water or normal water. Shake it. Very natural, normal, not a hard shake, that the gas mixes with the water, very heavy. Let the gas settle to the bottom. Add the water into the bath water. You need minimum 5 to 10 liters of this water. Keep the gas because you can use the gas for years to come. Sit in the water and stay in the water for half an hour at a time, 2 or 3 times a day. At the same time, you can consume 1 or 2 spoons of CO2 gas water to reject any radiation absorbed in the body. We know from the research from Tokyo, which is done for Keshe Foundation, we know from the research from TEPCO, even the gas which consumed by the rat and the mouse was non-toxic. So please do not use the gas of CO2, but use the water of it. And this will give you at least to reject any radiation which comes on the skin. At the same time, this gas of water which you sit in will protect your immune system. If one of the biggest problems we have with nuclear radiation is that the immune system, which is your bone marrow, the construction of the absorption of lymph into the bone to create B cells, and T cells gets damaged, and then it leads to other complications that the body cannot protect itself. Again, the heavier radiation absorbed then becomes this cancer in different parts. So it is important that you sit in the bath with your femur, with your leg, and your lower leg in the water. You can submerge yourself under the water, that any radiation can, and every single bone structure produces its own T cell and B cell for the specific area of the body. They all get supported. So our call goes to the Belgian nation and the Dutch. We are here to support you, and the technology is available. It's been tested. We offer this technology freely to the government of Belgium, even though this is for the nation, nothing to do with the leaders of the country. Understand fully, iodium cannot stop all the cancer, all the problems. We know this for years. Secondly, SDK in Mol in Belgium, which I've been there many times. We've done tests there for the Keshe Foundation. They know that they've been distributing these tablets to people around the area for years. There is an inherent problem in the nuclear reactors of Belgium. These reactors should have never been commissioned to come into operation from the beginning. This is a public knowledge. You all know. The reactors were commissioned with millions of cracks in the structure of the nuclear reactors. But they were allowed to come into operation for whatever reason. We know the gentleman who signed the documents to bring it to commission, and then he became the head of the safety of the nuclear industry of the Belgium. Now we understand the hypocrisy and the situation which has happened. The man who commissioned the 3 nuclear reactors, and he was aware at the point of the production, wrong materials used, and all the reactors, the containment buildings were all had millions of cracks in it, has become the safety head of a nation. Suez has been and is being aware of this problem and tried to solve this problem for the Belgium Electricity Board for years. They were punished and penalized for 200 million euro by the Belgian Parliament. Now, there is 2 things. We do not think there is any possibility of what is said to be. That might be threat or whatever. If it is, we support the Belgian security forces with everything we have to protect the nation. But as from what we know, I have been to these nuclear stations. I've been to SCK in Mol, which is the head of the nuclear safety section and testing of the Belgian government. We have spoken. I've been on the table with the man who commissioned them and then became the head of safety. This is the man who told me the King of Belgium wants me to leave the country. Find yourself another nation, not Belgium, Mr. Keshe. That's what his word. This man commissioned the nuclear reactors to come into operation. There are a lot of information on the internet and in public that these reactors have millions of cracks. We think the reactors are naturally becoming to the point to destroy themselves because it cannot be contained. And now it can be used for anything as a terrorist or whatever. But this failure in these 3 reactors has been expected for a long time by atomic energy authorities in Vienna. The reactors came into operation with millions of cracks. Nobody knew except the man who signed the papers because all the x-rays showed, but somehow it got commissioned. It's happened. Nothing can be done. But if it's a terrorist attack, as they say, possibility, which we've seen has happened, it's not impossibilities, but if it happens, we are there to support. We teach you everything we have. And if you manage rapidly to create the dome section condition, which we said, you can protect yourself from any future fall till a solution has found. Belgium will become like Chernobyl. For hundreds of kilometers from these reactors, nobody can exist and live. What is concerns us, men of nuclear, as a nuclear physicist, as a specialist trained for development system control of the nuclear power stations some 30 years ago. from Queen Mary College, University of London, worked with British Nuclear Fuel, especially on PWR safety control in the city of Knoxford, in Manchester. I tell you one thing. The walls of these nuclear reactors are between 3 to 6 meter thick reinforced concrete. The walls of the boundary containment in some cases are up to 12 meters thick. To blow such a system up is impossibilities unless it has been entered by a specific type of intercontinental missiles drill head, which is owned and possessed by the American government and the Israeli government. These are specific warheads which they sit on the top of the nuclear reactor concrete and they drill themselves in. And when they become to the cavity after 3 to 6 meters, they release the material inside. It is designed by the Israeli military. It's been implemented, tested by the Americans. Russians have part of the technology, more advanced in some cases. So to blow up such a nuclear reactor with a man with a bomb on his back is impossibilities. There is a weakness in the structure of the nuclear system control, which has been heavily guarded, and that is if you get into the control room and blow up the control room, which again the whole safety system goes into operation, you go into the total shutdown. As I said, as a specialist in reactor system technology, governments have spent a lot of money to safeguard their nationals. So blowing up a nuclear reactor by a bomb in the back or a truck, very remote. But safety parameters, as we've seen, can fail in Fukushima, that the rods drop late, create overheating, there is a possibility. But even then, you have to be literally inside the nuclear reactor to be able to create such a condition. So what we see, this is not just for the Belgium, this is the same for the other Americans in the West Coast, possibility of the earthquake, even with the Russian disasters. We've seen it in Chernobyl. If this time happens, thanks to TEPCO, we have confirmation of the material, as we saw with our specialists with TEPCO from Japan. Now they're walking, cleaning, and walking everywhere around the TEPCO in Fukushima as nothing happened, because they cleaned everything up using the knowledge which we have seen and developed and they have used. So my call goes to our Belgian supporters and the Belgian people. The tablets don't do anything, very little. Prepare yourself with CO2. Data is confirmed. In the coming weeks, you can buy these products as tablets as a sufficient dosage from the Keshe Foundation website. The supplements which are put in there will be supplied for these kind of disasters. So please, a warning, you have to listen to your government. There is possibility of whatever they might say, but in the case of Belgium, nuclear reactors, they've been on a red light list for a long time. There are articles that the man who knew about the cracks has allowed these systems to come. Directors of Suez, French energy company, who run the energy affairs of Belgium, have been aware of this failure for a long time. Maybe now there is a weakness and it can be emphasized with illegal activities, which we are not aware, the security of the nation is aware, but nationals, please go on the Belgian press, go on the Belgian papers. We support you with the scientific papers in the coming time that you can use the CO2 to help yourself. Most part of where these 3 nuclear reactors are based make a wasteland of Belgium. Totally. If any of these reactors blow themselves up or get blown up or misfunctioning happen. This is the same not only with Belgium. We have nuclear reactors in Germany, in Switzerland, 3 reactors in Italy. One has been on a commission but never come into power. So it's a number of these cases. It's not just 1 or 2. So maybe this way, together we learn. Understand what you got to do. In the case of the warning, do not walk outside. The minute you get a warning from your national radio or whatever, in any case, the minute you know you're a nuclear power station, there are safety procedures you have to follow. It's like an earthquake. You stay indoor, which means you do not look outside. Under no circumstances, even in the case of nuclear attack, they always teach you, we always taught people, if you see the light of a nuclear bomb, you are dead. Because the site gives you the radiation field which can travel. If you see mushroom, you possibly die with a longer time with nuclear cancer defects. Some people do, some people build a resistance, it takes longer time. So in the case of such an accident, doesn't matter in Belgium, as I said in America, we expect the earthquake or anywhere else, stay indoor. Immediately, if you have the CO2 liquid water with you, start consuming not more than 1 teaspoon 3 times a day. You have to wash your body on a continuous basis, at least once a day, with the same water. Does not matter what bath you choose. Number of people can go in the same water for washing any radioactive material. You don't wash. You neutralize, transfer the energy of the radioactive into the gas that it disposes in the environment. You need to top up this water at least every 3 days, which means you fill up the container with the water of the gas, let the gas settle, and you add to the bath, to the water. The process is very simple. If you see any initial sign of cancer, if you see any initial signs of nuclear exposure on the skin or in your lung, you make yourself a patch. You make yourself the same gas of water on a tissue in a plastic bag and you place on top of it. At least you can use it for 10 to 12 hours a day. You need to make a lot of people die, a lot of people see the radiation problem in their lungs. What you do, you create a balloon. Get yourself a balloon, get yourself a tube, fill the tube very much with gas of CO2, water, put a straw through it, and inhale from this end. Let the air to go through the gas-filled environment. This will do in your lung wonders in changing the strength of the radiation in your lungs. The radiation destruction of the cells in the lung will regenerate and will safeguard and secure the lung in a way that the growth of the lung cancer, and even we have seen in some cases that the lung cancer does not come, but we see leukemia. Because the energy absorbed through the lung directly gets absorbed in the blood, and the blood through the lung becomes the source of leukemia. Change of gravitational magnetic field strength of the plasma of the blood of the man. So you make yourself an inhaler where the straw, go to McDonald's, go to any supermarket, get yourself a straw and put it through. If you go to game shops, if you go to toy places, you see these plastic tube sausages, which is a hole. You keep on pulling it and it keeps on changing with the liquid inside. Buy one of those, empty the water, add a CO2 gas into it, put a straw in the middle of it, you got yourself a system. Very cheap, very effective. You have to protect yourself in 3 ways. One is your skin. One is your inhaling, and one is through your digestion system. And using a CO2 in this way protects you in every way. By sitting in the gas of CO2 water, you protect and keep the strength of the T cells and B cells produced at a strength that the body can fight any radiation, any virus back up. It's an unknown fact in public, but radiation disasters, nuclear disasters, create what they call nuclear viruses. Unknown, never understood. They just call it the cancer. But in fact, these are radiation level viruses which can be created in the body of the man in a high exposure to radioactive material, radioactive sources. So the process is very simple. We have thought enough. All of you are masters in the space technology. All of you becoming masters in understanding. It's your responsibility to take action to safeguard your nationals, to teach. Just keep it at home. But my advice to you is never expose yourself to outside under no circumstances. If you have the glass ball and the reactor, or you have a computer, dismantle the computer, take out the motor, put a ball on it, fill it up with CH3. Huge amount of CH3. Then fill it up. If you can get your hand on a lead with a huge amount of lead gas, these are all waters, not themselves, and you create clay that you create a shielding around the house. In a test, which we explain, you start hearing a whistle noise. This whistle noise is very much the noise you hear when people speak about UFOs. It's a loving, kind noise of shh. When you hear this noise, you walk back from it to see where this noise moves from the back of your body to the front of your body. The point when you see the transfer of the noise, that whistling noise, is the point of your shield. This is the parameter which means you're safe in. So what you need to do, I was teaching this to Armin in the past few days. He's going very much fast in this direction, and Armin has heard the voice, the noise, so he can explain to you exactly what to look for. What do? You get a motor, computer motor, you place a ping pong ball, CH3 to create the maximum boundary of the shield. You use lead or sulfur. Be careful, if you use sulfur, you do not create sulfuric acid when you use it as water or mixed in the water. There is a high possibility. So you have to understand what you're doing. Sulfur for the body of the man is much better than lead, because sulfur is part of our body, it's part of the structure of our body. So you put lead, gas water, or sulfur in this container, run at a higher speed, you create a shield. What do? You walk back from this shield till the noise moves from the back of your body into the front. When it moves, this is your shield. This is the boundary of the shield you have created. This is important. The noise, if you don't hear the noise, when you have such a mixture, it means the shield is too far out and is weak. What happens? The shield can be tens of meters away, kilometers away. What you have to do is to change the percentage of the lead or sulfur to a higher dosage, that you increase the gravitational and you bring the boundary close. This is important. This is how you make the shielding. You need a massive gravitational absorption with a dimensional shielding. This is your ACES tent. No radiation. If you get the mixture right, no radiation should be able to pass this boundary. This boundary allows you to move in and out because your body is in a GANS state and the shield you created is a GANS shield. X-rays, gamma rays, nuclear materials are in a matter state. They will not be able to pass the boundary. It's impossibility. So not only you protect yourself, but you create a protection environment. Never walk out of the boundary. This is the disaster. Stay with the boundary you create. Some of you, you might see shimmers. Stay within the boundary of the shimmers. You can start doing, these are the tests of building the first spaceship. So you are in a way not only learning how to protect yourself, you become masters of the spaceship development. It is important that you continuously keep, for the time being, till you start seeing physical parameters in your head, the noise level. It's very much like when you were a child and you played tick-tick. You remember? You used to tick-tick on the table. If you became close, it became too hot. You play the same game. You come close to the shield, never pass it. If you have to move out of a position, if you have to move out of the area which is heavily contaminated, you place this system within 1 meter of yourself. You make your height, your family, and you make sure everybody stays. You move the unit with you. So you can, under full protection, to walk away. Make sure, in the case of the condition of radioactive release, the ground level is always covered, which means you cannot pick up radiation dust from the ground floor up. As a nuclear physicist, in my training, I've been trained how to protect myself even if you're sitting within proximity of the nuclear reactor fully contaminated. At that time, we did not have access to this knowledge. I have stood on open doors, nuclear reactors in Queen Mary College, University of London, when the testing was more important than shutting the system into safety. We overcame all the locks with a sellotape. We just blocked the keys. We could keep the reactor running. And a number of the scientists, a number of students always used to get contaminated. We used to get a wash. It was famous for you. You jumped it, you wash it. Now you have a material which is at your reach. A number of people, out of their stupidity, have called Queen Mary College. Do you have a nuclear department? No. He's never paid. They never had a nuclear. They don't train nuclears. Of course, nuclear department was closed 25 years ago because the English system was transferred to PWRs. So we had to supply my certificate to the Belgian government as a nuclear physicist, accepted, checked by the university, that they allow the Keshe Foundation Research and Development to be involved and be able to carry nuclear tests. We have a license for it. We've been given a permission on the Keshe Foundation Research and Development. It's on our mandate, some 7 pages of it, that we can handle nuclear material because of the confirmation of the certificate by Queen Mary College to the Belgian government. So please understand. Actually, it took us about 3 months because the university would not release the papers. Says you already should have one. I said I stuck it on the toilet roll. So we had to sign documents that they could release one. But if you're interested, go to the Belgian government. They show you a copy of the, what do you call it, certificate of the university. This is for those who always create negative information that they exist. If we didn't have Keshe Foundation Research and Development, BBVA as a company in Belgium could not be established. So we go back to this. Understand the safety parameters of using the knowledge you have. Very simple. You have to protect 3 environments. You protect your environment with your system. You protect your body with the, what we call CO2, plasma, liquid plasma, just the water. And then if there is a contamination within the area where you are, you have to be able to wash it. You have to be able to neutralize it. And the only way you neutralize a nuclear material, the way it's done in TEPCO, in Fukushima, is you add to it to dilute it to reduce its energy. The waters are used in Fukushima is the same. They add so much gas into the environment and it gets washed into the sea that any radiation is absorbed by the gas and then is reduced its energy and it gets locked into the system of the gas. What happens is your plasma of the gas, and this is alpha or beta or radiation or whatever, their energy gets locked into the system of the gas because it's a field, it's not a matter state. So very rapidly you neutralize the radioactive material. Very, very simple. If the radiation of the reactor, like the ones in Belgium, releases nuclear material, and then there is a cesium which is released, or tritium which is released, then it's very easy. It's for your national government to change the disaster into money. I think this is what the Belgium heard. Now they want to test it. The Japanese are making 1 gram of nano single atomic gold, which created in that way, worth millions. It can absorb everything, and we think this terrorist alert is to create a lot of finance for the government because they've seen the Japanese made huge gain from Fukushima by creating monoatomic gold in white. Now it's a financial gain, not a terrorist attack. It's a disguise for it. You saw our specialist, who's a lecturer in the Tokyo University, who worked with us with TEPCO, showed you, if you remember, on a tray, different kind of materials they were using for filtering. And if you remember, the last bit he marked, the white dust. And that time he explained to you, this is what has come, this is the gas of CO2, which is used as dry, and partially it is a gas of CO2, but the gas of CO2, zinc oxide gas, and monoatomic gold look in color more or less the same, near enough with each other. So what we saw as a filter used by the American government's agency, the company which is appointed there, is to add monoatomic gold, which was captured from the tritium-infested waters, to capture, they use the gold which is there to capture the radiation by itself, which they produce from the process we developed for TEPCO. So there's a possibility that this threatened what we call pending attack on the Belgium nuclear reactors is a move for a financial gain, because every gram, in some cases, if it's purified, is up to $4 million a gram. Nano-atomic gold, which can be produced, has huge implications. So a nuclear reactor which can produce 20 kilogram of tritium gold nano-atomic, you can see what it entails. Very simple. Let's say 10 kilogram, 10,000 gram, multiplied by 4 million at the moment. The cost is, because a lot of people don't know what they can do with this, you can see it's a $10 billion gain. It's worth to blowing a nation for it for some. Now you understand, as we said, when we start working, and we told we work with TEPCO, now you've seen everything is there. We can show you a lot of shipping documents. We shipped the material for TEPCO to be tested in the tanks as a talcum powder. This was the authorization the American government gave to the Japanese to ship material from the Sensano Kesh Foundation on the talcum powder. That's how it was shipped. We have FedEx shipment with all the documents for it. Went through Los Angeles, TEPCO, because American government wanted to have a sample of it before it goes to Japanese. And in that process, we said they can create 50 kilogram of gold. Now you see the figure adds up very nicely. And then there is 1,400 tanks. You can see the figure is astronomical. Japan has made more money out of these as a national assets than what they spent on the whole of the Second World War, 10 times over. I hope the other nations don't learn to repeat this, because I will teach you how you can make nano-atomic gold at home at the cost of 0 cents. Figures are staggering. People who do not know, but as Kesh Foundation supporters who listen to these teachings, you have been brought up to understand this. You have seen people who deliver the technologies, and you've seen the man who clearly states exactly what is going on. Then you understand, if you add up the figures, you have that's a kilo, that's a ton, and then you add the 9 zeros. It's not worth invading Syria or invading Libya. Without anything, you damage your nation, but you make $70,000 billion of assets. They don't put the whole lot. They put 100 gram, 50 gram as a collateral with governments. That's how it's made. It's not gone shopping. It's become supporting assets. So if you get a nuclear attack, if you get a condition of nuclear explosion, be it by accident, be it by terrorism, be it by any shape or form, one of the biggest problems you have at the moment is what they call chemical warfare and biological, what they call dirty bombs, which can be used by terrorists. It can be done. You follow the same procedure. CO2 is your only chance because it works in neutralizing the balance of the body of the man. You can do one thing very, very easily. When you produce the gas of CO2, you see that fat on top of your mixture. That fat is very important to you. That fat becomes your survival kit to live. You eat bread, you eat rice, you eat the meat, you eat vegetation to convert the energy of the amino acid into energy absorption for your body, to lock into your body. Now, in your CO2 gas, that fat looking on the top is your saving God-given gift. You try to extract it. The way it's done, is easiest way to be done is you dip like a pencil or a plastic and serve it around that the gas gets stuck to it. Transfer this into a clean water, that you take the salt content out of it. You repeat this on a regular basis, and what you start collecting in the water is the gas of amino acid. So what happened? Your amino acid stays on top. You bring it from the CO2, you add it to a clean water. You can repeat this 2 or 3 times that there is no salt content to it. You take the gas, the CO2 in the water, try to reduce the water to minimum as possible to keep as much gas as possible. And then what you do, you place this amino acid with its water into a container, a sealed container, where amino acid can be kept. Will never get dirty or whatever. You can add very, very small amount, a touch of gas of copper oxide into this water to make sure it stays disinfected, that it doesn't create any germs. Then you place this capsule, this little amount of amino acid on top or next to a glass of water. You remember the orange business? You place the orange on top. Now you place the amino acid on top. You transfer the energy of this amino acid to the water. This gives you everything you need for energy. This gives you support for your amino acid structure of your body. This is how you receive protein in space. You don't carry cows with you. You carry what we call liquid plasma of the gas of the amino acid. In the future, you carry the energy of it as a field plasma. But this is good enough in the time of disaster till a lot of you become knowledgeable to carry on with the further steps. At the same time, you make sure that you carry in this process, in this water, certain amount of CH3, that the energy release of the hydrogen allows energy transfer. You don't need food. You can sustain life for a long time till you find a place of safety where you can reduce the shield. If your system breaks down, if your shields break down, don't panic. Always carry with you a mixture of the water gas of copper oxide, CH3, and CO2, that you can restart the process. The ball can fly off, the engine can burn out, you can drop the whole system, the dog can walk on it because there's something there, he thinks it's a toy, he can pinch on it. So you go to the next step of protecting yourself. Now you have your protection, You have the field and you have your food. Try to. This is advisable. I advise you heavily. Because you will understand this when you walk into it. At this moment of time, it might not mean much to you. In the process that you are producing the gases, in the process that you are producing the gas water, in the time of disaster, in the time of deep space when you're alone, emotional distress is 90% of the failure. You need to have a composed psychological structure to understand, to be able to act correctly. The only thing which gives you this any shape or form of it. Zinc oxide, a small amount of it, always has to be with your food consumption as gans of it. This we use for psychological depression. You boost the energy. You use ZNO, ZNO2 in conjunction with CH3 as a spoonful of the water, and you walk a man out of what do you call it, out of Alzheimer's. You walk a woman out of fibromyalgia. But it has to be done by the doctors. But in time of emergency, you're on your own doctor. You want to find a zinc at this moment of time. Across the world, we all have access to batteries. Most of the batteries, or some of the old batteries, they still have a zinc case. It's the easiest, the cheapest way to access. Create the zinc oxide, secure your emotion, then you can think logically. The depression will not be there, and you can compose the whole situation. Because you are psychologically, emotionally supported, you make correct decisions, not hasty decisions. When you are in a time of disaster, in trying to escape from one leads to another disaster. So by doing and having these in preparation in your hand, this will be part of the system in the space technology protection. You already safeguard yourself. You look after the physicality, you look after the emotion, you look after the psychological side, you look after the physical side, you look after the what I call the house. And in that process, you start in a correct way to think, to behave, and start supporting the others. Psychological pressures in space is 99% of the failure of man in space. So the zinc is part of the emotional approach to step by step. In so many ways, if I was teaching this very recently, if you want to get pregnant and you can't have a child for whatever reason, as long as the condition in having the eggs and the sperm correct, but you cannot get pregnant, make a bath, pour 1-2 liters of the zinc oxide water inside it, and sit there for a few hours, an hour a day, half an hour a day, and you'll be happy to be the creator of your life. You change the emotion, the anxiety of parenthood to regeneration of the correct environment for generation of life. The process, as I said to you from the beginning, is not anymore how to build what, is to understand how to use what you built and how to apply it. How to bring the forces together that you become a support and not a burden. If you have high-level radiation burns, which you will come across, if you have high physical damage that you come across, just create the CO2 patches on the body. The energy balances will create the tissues, will remove the energies of result. In a space, 100% of your problem is the field interaction with the environment. And this is the only way balances your body in respect to the environment and what it can hold on to. Understanding the application is more important than understanding the process. If you understand the process, logically, sequentially, you create conditions. You need certain materials. You're not all physicists and chemists. You're not all plasma physicists, but we are all part of the human race in trying to save the life for a time when the soul is ready to depart from physicality. And it's your job to not only to feed the physicality, is to feed the emotion and to feed the soul that it can hold on to the physicality in the right order. In that process, as I said, you create a condition that you protect the physical body. With zinc, you protect the emotion, and with it, in feeding the soul, it dictates the condition on its original base of the amino acid, what you call DNA. So, in totality, you dictate the condition. In totality, it's you who creates the condition to be in the environment where you want to be. So you have to make the tools of protection. You have to make the tools of understanding the protection. You have to have the assets of the knowledge, understanding, and not to be a copycat. In the environment you create, it has to be an environment which is peaceful to all. To you, to your companions, to your fellow people in space, and to the people of space which you come across. I was explaining this very recently. I don't know if I'm correct or not, but I know our Russian friends will tell us. In the West, we say no. And when we say yes, the Russians say no this way and yes this way. Now you're in space, and the man of space, you say, do you want to fight? You say no, but to him is yes, he shoots you. Not physically, but emotionally drains you that you cannot fight. But in fact, you meant yes, I want peace. So you have to create a total understanding of the creation. You have to understand that in this process, you take what you want from the environment according to the structure you set. We started this process with what we called What is Spending. It's an international media that both the Dutch and the Belgian government are disputing using tablets for a possible attack on nuclear reactors. So, attack, earthquake, wrong aircraft, wrong condition, rogue nuclear reactor controllers. They all can lead to disasters on the nuclear side. Forget about it. You have fallout from volcanic eruptions. You have fallouts from all sorts of things. You come in the condition of chemical power stations producing pharmaceutical or chemicals, or what is most of your fear with chemtrails. You can now produce yourself the same protection. Now we are all on the equal basis. Any questions? There are no questions. That's fantastic.
Thank you, Mr. Kesh. I think we'll have some questions here. It's just a matter of getting them lined up.
I would like to add something before I take questions.
Okay.
For those of you who have cancer and psychologically you have accepted you want the end to your physical life, it's not.
Hello, Mr. Kesh.
Excuse me, let me finish. For those of you who have terminal illnesses that you have decided you would like to finish with a physical life, separation of the soul from physicality, is your right. For those of you who want to change the condition of the cancer, I have a small tip for you. Doesn't matter where the tumor is, where the cancer is. Make yourself a patch of CO2 gas. Put it at the position of the cancer. You have cancer of the throat, you have cancer of whatever you call it, let's say stomach, you have testicle cancer or whatever. Just wrap and place a high saturated CO2 gas on it. Further on, when you feel the reduction, okay, especially with sexual organs like the womb, like testicles, add the zinc oxide, a small amount, after a couple of weeks to the gas patch. You use a CO2 gas patch to bring down the tumor, and then, because these are psychologically created conditions, majority of it, then you use a gas of zinc oxide. Never use a copper oxide, zinc. Never use copper oxide with CH3 in the sexual organs cancer, because most of these are emotional connected. A mother gives life to the child through emotion of the womb, not through the physicality of the womb. It's the same with a man. So this is the procedure. If you have to decide if you want to live, because for a lot of people, they say yes, but in fact, they don't see a line of reason to live. We can give all the support, but they can override it. It's got to be done with acceptance of the soul and emotion in change of the physicality to be able to take place. All you need to do, this we know, we've seen the work in Middle East, we've seen the same report from the doctors here in Europe, we've seen the same report from Chinese. To neutralize, literally a cancer emotion related, the best thing you can do to at least to contain it till you find the seed of the cancer is the use of CO2 gas in a tissue paper, in a bag. Hold it and keep it for 2-3 hours a day, no more. You have to take it and let the body to learn. And then when you see the reduction substantial enough, you can use half an hour a day, a couple of times a day, the gas. Never miss the CO2 with Zn, even though most of the time when you produce Zn, you produce CO2, and most of you produce CO2, you produce Zn anyway. It's part of the CO2 box structure. Any answer? Any questions? Sorry.
Hello, Mr. Cash.
Who's that?
I'm Florin from Romania, the guy who keep the teachings in Norway.
The guy from Romania who teaches. Okay.
We talked before one
Very,
time.
very complicated guys there. They're going all over the place. Now
Yeah.
you see they don't have any borders. They are all one nation.
Yeah. Mr. Cash, I built a magrav just with the water, just with the plasma liquid. I made the gravitation from copper. I made the magnetical from CO2 and zinc oxide, and I make the center with lead.
Yeah.
Very interesting, because I see something, but I can't explain exactly what I see around this magrav.
Yes.
It's like the heat is like, you see like heat, but it's any heat there. And
Yeah.
the spirals, not the spirals, the tubes vibrate. But I put a little bit more guns around this magrav, and now it's more stable. You see more stable this vibration. And also I heard it the day you mentioned about the noise, and I heard it, that noise. I can say that. And yeah, and the tubes.
It's a whistling noise, but it's a very sweet noise.
Yeah, it is. I didn't. Now it's too much noise. When I heard it at that time, I didn't know exactly what it is, but I know what what you said. It's kind of that. Yeah.
Arman, are you online? Hi, Arman. Are you awake or asleep?
No, I'm awake.
You're awake. That's good. Arman, how is your finger? Has it grown now? The thumb?
Yes.
Good. Now you can.
Perfectly healed.
Can you explain to us the experience with the system when you were running it a couple of nights ago? I kept Arman up till 4 o'clock. He said I'm going to bed, but it was okay for me. It was 1 o'clock my time, daytime. Okay, Arman, can you explain to us what to expect as a noise?
Now, when I loaded it with lead GANS water, and that's where the changes came. It's like it's a whistling noise. It's like when you can step in and step out. If there is a boundary, you can hear that noise. It was like a meter and a half, you know, where I was sitting, and when I start to move back, walk to in and into it, you know, it's like you can hear it. It's impossible. You miss it. It's like interaction of the fields. It's not a motor noise. It's different. I will record it if I can, you know, if you'll record it, so I can put it online.
Yeah, I heard it. What I heard from around 5-6 meters, more than that.
Maybe I had too much lead.
I put just 3 milliliters of water lead from inside,
You
And
see, you got to learn, the more you add CH3, the larger the field become.
okay,
CH3 is a field expander, where the lead is gravitational, is a reduction. So with argon, I think what did you have, argon? 11 and 10 milliliter?
Yeah, I had 11 lead and 10 hydrogen.
The other thing which I explained
Milligram of
to
hydrogen. Nitrogen. What is it?
Pardon?
10 milligram of CH3.
10 milliliter of CH3 and 11 milliliter of
lead gas.
when you did a test with a mixture of the lead and other materials, we didn't hear this noise. The
No.
original test.
okay.
Okay.
Is
Let me explain. Hold on, because then in this section I can add. When you use lead, you create in the interaction with lead. Somebody's whistling. In the interaction between the lead, CH3, and the Earth atmospheric condition, depending where you are, you should start seeing the creation of certain kind of dust. I explained to Arman the dust you have to look for. This is known as a cosmic dust. It's created from the interaction of the field. It's very much like the way you create nitrogen. Somebody's microphone is open. Can you close, please? We hear a dropping whistle. The material creates, I explained to Arman, I said, Arman, can you clean the floor and see if you see this? This is one of the first signs of development of the physical structure. Then it's for you to create a condition of adjustment that you solidify this matter state. If you think of it, if you look at it in a different point of view, different angle, in what you already know, it's very much like this. You have the Earth, and then you have the atmosphere of the Earth. The nitrogen is created at this level in a gaseous state. But as the gravitational field increases and the magnetical reduces, you convert the gas into the matter state, the solid state of the planet. So it should be easy for you to understand that in these conditions, why you see this silverish greenish color. This is as part of the structure. It means you start creating the solid state till you can create a solid boundary, the structure of your spaceship. I said, those of you who become part of the Keshe Foundation first group of space people as Mojans, you'll be taught all these things to be able to do, because you can use the same condition to produce steel, to produce iron, to produce whatever you need in space. You have to understand it's a natural process. In the boundary, you have nitrogen, but as the nitrogen falls on Earth, we see it as a matter of nitrogen. So the central control is sacrosanct. So one of the things you have to use, I've said this many times in the Sensano, in the lab, to the people who work around, always look for what's around you. Don't look what's inside or what you expect from the system. See if you're producing any dust. Arman cleaned up and says, no, it's a normal dust of the garage. But you start looking to see, you see abnormalities. You see wetness. You see moisture. You see fat. You see field energies which are not there. You can walk through a point where you might feel a pinch in your legs. And you walk away and you come back to the same point. So in that environment, field created, which interacts with the neural system of the body of the man, and you feel it as a pinch. So now that we are becoming to the point of delivery and understanding of the technology, you have to start looking for what is coming. The noise, that's what Armand tells you. It's understand. This gives you a boundary. In the teaching last week, we showed the dimension of the plasma using the camera with the Jackie. You understand the process, so start becoming vigilant. Now, 2 or 3 of you understand that you've seen the noise. I hope, I wish our group of 7 who's sitting in the background get it translated to, could participate and tell us what they've seen in their tests. If they're online, the translators can translate the question, because there was a question last week, none of them asked questions. So I said I'll teach them private. Let me explain who they are. These are scientists, 7 group of scientists from the Chinese government. These are 7 scientists who sit as Chinese supporters in the background, developing the technology. We welcome you to Keshe Foundation China in the openness of the teaching. So these group of people in China will be taught very rapidly in the coming days for the development of the technology in the private sessions. Now you know who's sitting in the background. It's 7 team of them, 8 team of them, and the teachings are getting simultaneously translated for them. If the translator, if there are any questions and they would like to put across, we can answer now or in the private teaching which is set up. We work closely with the Chinese people because they are of the same ethos as the Keshe Foundation, peaceful nation. Carry on, Armin.
I just want to say, ask you something more about what I sing, Mr. Keshe.
Yes. You are here to learn.
Yeah, I'm here to learn, but I want to know exactly what I'm seeing there, because I see these fields, or is this heat, but it's not heat.
Yes, Vernie, are you there? Yes.
Do you want to see the Magrav, Mr. Keshe?
Yes, please. You created a plasma magnet system, which is a ball. Okay, let's have a look. Yes, please. And then Vernie will explain to you, because this morning about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, my time, Vernie was explaining this, and I've seen it in the communication innovation, which Vernie explains very easy how you see the heat and what is the heat with the plasma. Can you show it to us?
Mr. Keshe, first time I want to show you how looks the tubes when I made them, and how looks after 1 day. Do you see the screen?
Rick, can he share the screen, please? Can you allow him to share the screen?
Yes, he is sharing it now, Mr. Keshe. So
I cannot expand mine. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
And the first image in the left side, it is when I made them. It's totally transparent.
Yeah.
And this is after 2 days, let's say. The gravitation become white.
Your magnetical is white too.
Yeah, but both they have gravitation and magnetical. Both two tubes they have water inside.
The water is what mixture have you used?
Then the gravitation have 2 tubes, one gravitation and one magnetical, and the magnetical have the same gravitation and magnetical. Inside I use
inside each other.
Yeah.
Okay. So you change the coil. This is what I explained last week. You can make it with a glass. Armin, you see what I was talking about? When you see the glass manufacturers?
I have it already, Mr. Keshe.
You got it? Oh,
Next week I will present it.
okay, that's beautiful. So you have put the, can you explain to us, you've got a double tube, each one.
Yeah, I buy some
Let's go step by step, please. Enlighten us step by step that we understand.
Yeah,
You understood? Now you have to transfer the knowledge in the right way. You
yeah.
have two tubes.
I buy some small tube from a fishing store. They use these small pipes for bringing the air and aquarium.
Yeah, this is known as the 4 millimeter pipes
Yeah, it is very small. Yeah,
and the 6 millimeter pipes.
yeah. I buy the smallest one.
Yeah, okay.
And
You put one inside the other.
yeah, and this in the same time you find to the fishing store the connections.
Mm-hmm.
And I was to the other store and I buy a transparent tube a little bit bigger.
Both tubes are transparent, yeah?
Yes, yes. You can see in the left image all are transparent.
Okay. Explain, it's known, those of you who go into shop, one is known as a 4 millimeter tube and one is known as a 6 millimeter tube. The 6 millimeter is very common used in laboratories, in fish tank shops.
Yeah, the small ones they use in the aquarium by bringing oxygen in the aquarium.
But okay, then what have you done? Where did you put your ganses?
Then I cut them, I connect them, and I see they are okay. Then I nano coat them.
How did you nano coat it?
I use it my floor from bathroom because it's heat there, and I spray it. I spray them with caustic and mix it with water, and I leave it 3 days. And after that, I take the kapak off, and they become they dry, and you will see the caustic dry it. And after that, I wash it. I wash them.
Mm-hmm.
And I wash them with distillate water, and I start the process of putting on the liquid plasma. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How did you use the liquid plasma in the inner one and outer one? What did you?
I can say now. I use a syringe.
Yeah.
And I extract water, liquid plasma from copper oxide. I know it is stronger, and the gravitation one supposed to be stronger. We need a stronger guns for gravitation.
Red water inside the center.
Yeah. Okay.
And what did you put outside?
And outside I put CO2 with zinc oxide. It is a mix of this liquid plasma.
Okay.
Yeah. Then first time
before you go a step further, this is to understand. Do you have any other tubes which has been processed but is not filled in?
I have an image. I can show here.
No. Do you have any left at the moment?
Yes, I have. Wait a second. I can bring it now.
Okay, bring it now, because we want to clarify a lot of things that people understand.
I have to share my camera now.
No problem. I hope you are dressed well. We're going to see you, huh?
Yeah, I'm dressed well, but I have to stop sharing now.
Yes. Don't let us see your screen. Just go on your camera, please.
Yes.
Where is your camera? Now we see you. Okay. Good morning.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Cash. This one, the small one.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the small one, and this is the big one. You can see one is going inside of each other.
It's a 6 millimeter and a 10 millimeter. You've gone off the picture somehow. We see you on. We don't see you on the main. Okay, you're back again. Okay. Now, have these tubes been put through caustic as the others or not?
Yeah, everything is nano coat, Mr.
All
Cash.
the pipes in your hand are nano coated, yeah?
No. This is not made. I will show you the Magrav. What is the coils? What you see in the image was nano coating, but this is not. I didn't made anything with them.
Okay, what I want you to do, because we have to be correct in that way, nano coat the same way the wires as you have, and put them in a room for some time, wash them, go through the process, the same process,
Yeah.
but put them in the water, not in a gas, in the normal water. Want to know if the color changes to white.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
We have some of the plastics in interaction with caustic, and then the water, they get oxidized. It has
Okay.
nothing to do with the GANs. So we have to clarify exactly where we are, because I've seen these before.
But what I want to say, Mr. Cash, why just the gravitation changed the color?
That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
Okay.
So you have to do the same process. You have to go through the same process. If the gravitation goes through the process of going white, it's a field which is absorbing. Is that field interacting, that the interaction creates a white light?
Yeah.
Have you looked at them in the dark? Do they glow in the dark or no?
I work a lot overtime, and I just see when I came home these vibrations. You know, you see them when you look, when you stay 2 meters far away from him, then you start to see these tubes. They start to do like that. But
you have already decided as a man, you stay away from him.
And now he's behind me. I'm behind him.
Yeah, no. What I said, you call him. So you already decided the system is a male.
From when I make the first patches, Mr. Cash, I have this idea to make something like that. I know this Magrav will show me something, and he showed me.
He showed you. Okay, carry on.
I can, like I said,
can you feel this vibration in your skin? Do you feel the vibration?
And the top of the fingers, you feel.
It's like a tinkling feeling. It's like animals inside your body. You know, does it feel like what we call cribble-crabble in Flemish? I always use it. Does it feel like nerves moving inside your skin?
I feel like from up to this ear to down here, like it's playing something, you know. But it is very
unknown. That is called the fear of unknown nerve. You don't know what it is, but you know there is something else. That feeling on the back of your physicality and the emotion can't match. You feel it, but you can't see it. But what I'm interested in to know, when you feel the vibration, is it with do you feel it as inside your skin something is moving, or is it something like a feel touching you?
A feel touching me.
Okay. Does the field, the strength changes as you go closer to the rings?
If I go closer to the rings.
Can we see it? Can you show us the ring?
Wait a second. Yeah, it's here.
Okay. This is what. Is it 3 stacks of it or one of them?
Three of them.
Okay. Werner, you're in the background. Would you like to come on and explain to us?
I'm listening, Mr. Kes.
Yes, you're a master in this. We were talking this morning. We were on the line with Bernie till about 2:30, 3 o'clock my time this morning with this. Keep your camera on it, please. Keep your camera on it.
Okay, Rennie, can you explain? You understand this very well.
Yes. So what the question is why he feels something? Is that
Mhm.
right? Okay.
And why
It's
he feels
normal.
the heat?
Yeah, it's normal for us as we are also plasma beings. It's normal for us. This what you have there is an energy source, a higher level of energy source, and especially when you are tired or you have this drain condition in you, you feel more of that sensation every time you go near to this device, simply because it connects to your body, and because your body is in need at some point, or especially when you're tired, uh, it connects to your body, that it provides the energy. Your body connects to it also. It interacts. So especially when you kindly use your left hand. Use your left hand. It is more intense using your left hand.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I feel
Yeah.
it. I use the left hand, but I keep
Yeah.
my laptop now.
When you use your right hand, you feel this some form of field form that's something like there's a shape actually. There's a layering shape on top of it. Simply because your right hand is also projecting the field that they go. It's just like a magnet when they repel each other, something like that. There is some form of shape according to the field. With your left hand, it attracts that you feel the sensation. That it depends. It's different from person to person, because for every person we have a different need, depending on the condition of the body. So this is how it is. Any mag-grab setup device, or even nano-coated material like copper nano-coated, same as what we use in the pen, have this feeling sensation uh, within our body. When you feel the heat, it's not this device that is heating up. It is the effect on your body according to your need. When you need warm, it manifests as a warm feeling. When you need some cool, uh, if you need some, you say lower temperature because you're feeling hot, it will manifest as a cool sensation. So it manifests according to your need.
Can
Thank
you
you.
explain that more in detail, Wernie, because you're good at this?
Yes. The connection here is all plasma usually connects magnetical to gravitational. So the part on our body that connects here, it is our gravitational part, while the one that gives you the energy is on the magnetical part of the device. So you see, that's why we use left hand, right hand, because we already identified which part of the body that has this flow, the going into the left, the going out to the right. So understanding this, the connection, this is also our basic. This is very important also to have this basic understanding how it connects. It's always mag to grab, or you have this pairing, gravitational and magnetical. It is always that way. So you can design. Yes.
Wernie, please, 1 second. Um, Let me explain, or you can explain it better than me, for a lot of you to understand.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Kesh.
Wernie has the principle, which is correct, is that the gravitational always turns in clockwise, and the magnetical always goes out anti-clockwise. Correct, Wernie?
Correct, Mr. Kesh.
So you got to understand this is how the field gets absorbed or rejected. They don't collide. Each one creates its own path. In your system, in your tubes, as I said in all this videotape we listen at the beginning of every teaching, we use the matter state to contain the plasma using nanomaterial. So what happens, you have dictated in your system a gravitational pull, which is a clockwise, and within the same environment, with the wall of the tube, you have created an anti-clockwise, which is the magnetical field. That's why the twin systems, like the coils and the pipes you made, and this is what I said last week, if you make the glasses from the double glass tubes and put it in the center of the core, you will get these responses. The fields flow in gap between each other. They allow the magnetical to expand if it's needed, or gravitational to reduce if it's needed. So this explains in a simpler way that this is how it works. They don't come out and go from the same channel. Each one of them has his own channels. The way we made the magnetic system, the way you made the coil system is the same. We use the matter state now to dictate the gap. And as Armand said, next time he's going to show you a glass tube. I know our Chinese colleagues will show us a glass system very soon. They're working on it, or they already completed it. So in that respect, what Bernie is trying to explain, and now you understand, brings everything together. You create an input clockwise with your center core with the LED, and you create an outward with your zinc copper oxide or CO2 outside. And what happens now, your inner core, the double core in the center, your gravitational system in the center, now this has a balance between the gravitational and magnetical, and now it has to balance itself with the gravitational magnetic field of the outer ring. And this is how you create the vibration. Interaction of these two fields in the excess that the gravitational of the center gravitational double core receives more, creates a field with the interaction of the Earth gravitational field. And your body plasma or GANs, when it comes in touch with it, gets to a point which converts this energy into physical vibration. That's why you feel that. Or it changes it into a mechanical magnetic vibration of the electrons in the plasma condition of the body of matter. That's why you feel the vibration. So
you just see it, but it's not vibration.
Pardon?
You just see, but it's not physical vibration.
No, it's not, because it's felt by the plasma. It's a plasma interaction.
Exactly.
Because the body is in a Ganser state, now the fields from your system are in a Ganser state. One is pulling, one is pushing, and the interaction of the two with your body creates the four field forces, which is the physical vibration, or reduction of the energy to the level of the magnetic field, the strength of the neurotransmission in the body of the man. So you couldn't feel this if you had a nanomaterial, but now you have a Ganser state plasma interaction, you see this.
The support is from wood, and the wood is burned.
Pardon?
The support is made from wood, and the wood is burned with the gas.
So you made a Ganser, you nano-coated it.
Yeah.
Yeah, understand. Okay, carry on, because when he will explain to you, he explains how when it's cold and when it's warm in respect to the Ganser system. He was teaching last night on the tests. Can you explain to us your theory, please, so you see it?
Okay. When designing this system, we have to see to it that there is no friction created. Like when one goes to the right, the other should go to the left. That you have this slippery motion of fields. Can you visualize? Yeah. See, if you move your I would like to everyone to visualize like this. If you put your hands together in a clapping hand position, your
Can we share a camera with you, Wernie? You can show us, and we come back again.
No. I can explain this just like using the hand.
We don't see you.
Yeah, I don't look good today, Mr. Kesh. Okay, anyway, if you put your hands together
you looked smart enough in the way, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you put your hands together in a clap position, then you invert both palms so that it's back facing its back. You see, when you move your two hands together forward, you curl it. This is the ideal. You curl it naturally. One goes to the left, one goes to the right. You see, this is a natural flow that we should encourage in every design that we have. This creates no friction in field flow. See, if you pair a magnetical with a gravitational strength, more gravitational and more magnetical, if you pair these two, one turns clockwise, one turns counterclockwise. You see, there is no friction. So
We have no imagination what you're talking about, Manny.
So imagine one flow going to the right and side by side one flow going to the left. So that's how it is. That's how it should be in every flow. If you imagine you slice an apple lengthwise, that you see the cross section of the apple lengthwise, you see the stem in the middle, and the apple turns to the right, the curve, and turns to the left on the other side. So you see, that's the natural. It's a toroidal flow of fields. That's how it is. So we have to be careful selecting which GANs to use as gravitational. We have to identify which one is more gravitational, and for the magnetical, which is very good today that we already have that information. Like, for example, we use a CO2 or CH3 or the copper oxide. They are more magnetical, they are more giving. So we can assign them as more magnetical in strength. And the lead gas, for example, will act as our gravitational. So having them, these gases this way, now we have the gravitational and we have the magnetical. So we are dealing now with liquids. We cannot wind them the way we do with coils, but because we know their strength, now we can use them as our basic building blocks of the MagGrav unit, which is what you have there. This is very nice. And the heat usually there, when you touch the tube, is it really hot or?
It's not hot. It's showing like being.
Okay. It is actually your reaction to these fields. It is your blood. It is your self, actually. That I experienced this also the first moment I inserted a nano-coated coil inside a bigger nano-coated coil. When the moment I first inserted this, my hand is very warm. But when I touch using the back of my fingers, the coils, they are cold. But when I inserted them, my fingers holding these coils turns warm. Warm as in I am in a lukewarm water. But when I remove the middle, it's no longer warm. You see, this is an indication that there is field interactions, and because of this field interaction, together with your body has these fields. You have this sensation like being warm, and for some it is cold. So
yeah, correct.
Yeah.
What you said now, I go to work and I feel he's around him, you know, I don't know what's happening. I feel a connection with him, but I go to work, you know, I don't give so much attention to him, but like I go and I'm driving and I like, if I'm thinking about him, he like, but I'm not sure if it's true or not.
Yes, you're there. That's nice, because distance doesn't matter with a plasma. It doesn't matter. When you connect, you see, you can live.
Bernie, can I come in?
Yes.
I think you can disclose part of the work which you are doing with your car units. I think that comes into this.
Yes, this is natural actually.
Pardon?
This is natural. This is not. We cannot say that this is because people having this experience sometimes will say this is not normal. No, this is how nature works. Like Mr. K said, we have experienced this, that you can leave your unit, let's say at home, and you want your car to perform better, you simply connect it to your car, which by your thoughts.
Yeah.
This is what we were talking this morning with Randy earlier on, and Douglas was online. The man becomes the key to the car. So if they want to steal you, they steal the car, they have to steal you with it. You understand? Yeah. Am I correct, Bernie?
Yes, you're correct, Mr. Kesh.
So you become the key to your car, and you can leave the MagGrav unit out. This is what Innovation Center is working on. Very advanced level.
What
what you do, you carry the emotion and the energy of your maglev system with you. What is the proximity of the contact now? 1 meter, Bernie?
For the device, yes, 1 meter it can do now. Before it is only around 1.5 feet, but revising the configuration of the device, it can go farther than that. And because of that, we're able to try, what if we pass through the plasma through ourselves and project it to the car? And it did perform, like the car doesn't perform well. Then when you say, okay, I'll connect to this device, then I'll connect with my gravitational, I'll absorb the energy, and I'll pass it using my magnetic field. So it's just that using my left hand, I absorb the energy. Using my right hand, I transmit it to the car. At a distance of, I would say, 2 to 3 meters, instantly, the car, while the person pressing the accelerator, just like, consistent, in consistent manner, the same distance, pressing the accelerator. So we will know when the car changes its performance. The moment you project the energy, you give the energy, instantly the engine changes its sound, and the accelerator pedal will push back, meaning engine vacuum increases, engine performance increases. Now, we decide, what if we put away the maglev unit, and let's say it is just there at home and our car is outside. Then what if we do this? Okay, you can connect. So at this moment, you can dictate how your engine will perform. Then we try, what if we don't want the car to perform better? So we decide. And it did not perform better.
What is the fuel consumption reduction you achieved up to now?
For this one, we haven't tested yet, but the previous setup we have, from 14 kilometers per liter, we're able to get 23. The same route of testing on a Sunday, and for us, it's just like city driving, because we have this small vehicle, so 40 kilometers per hour, most of the time going 50 and maximum of 60 kilometers per hour. That's our usual speed on the street. We were able to get 23. These cars usually get 7, 8, and it's very good if you can get 10 kilometers to a liter of gasoline. Before we were about 15. This time 23 is normal for us. That's a huge improvement.
It's 3 times more or less.
Yes.
So these are the things which Innovation Center will release in due time, because it's still getting developed.
Mr. Cash.
Yes.
So, I want to say something more. My vision, it's said that type of maglev will show me, if I have more of them, will show me the spaceship. What do you think about that?
Good morning.
Because this is...
if you understand the language of the Keshe Foundation, I said to you, good morning.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to take it out of the flat to the vertical, 90 degrees.
Yeah. I was thinking about that, but because
at the same time, you have to decide that your cores are loaded slightly different, that you create the motion. You're on the verge of developing the first spaceship, if you understand, with the GANs. You're still a phase to go through. You still have to go into the fields without the water. Where are you going to find water in the space? You have to develop the understanding. Gradually, you're in the right track that to interact the fields. And all you need to do, especially with people like Bernie and Innovation Center and Armand understanding exactly what I'm talking about, you have to create a central gravitational point that you decide what is absorbed and what is rejected. This I explained in depth last week, but nobody understood. When, if you remember, I made a core and a coil, and I explained to you that the central gravitational point in the center is what is dictating. if you understand what I was trying to explain last time, then you understand you do not need magnetic poles so much. In what you absorb, you create in the center of the core, and the foil will dictate what is going to be released in what strength. So in that way, you have to create a variation not only in center, but in respect to 3 more sets. And it goes back to the structure of the hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and carbon. Having in mind that the one which needs more, absorbs more of the gravitational field, is not the one which you put the lead in, is the one which has the CH3 in. Because it's that which gives more, so it needs to absorb more. So that has to be your top core.
Okay.
That's where you understand?
Yeah.
So, Werner can explain to you in more detail in the variation in the field, because we've done a lot of work with this in the past few months in creating the variation in the field strength. Now, with the availability of the liquid plasma, it's much easier to do this.
Yeah, very easy.
Very easy. So what you got to do, I was explaining this to Armin in the past couple of weeks. We've been working with this course with Armin. You have to go into measurements. You don't need to have many different ganses. You create a condition where you put 10 milliliter of, let's say, lead, but 5 milliliter of, let's say, CH3 in one. In the other one, you put 9 milliliter of, what do you call it, lead, and 6 of the other.
Yeah.
We can play with the plasma in a very beautiful way, in a way that you don't need to physically make things. Now you dictate the ratio. This is what Armand just told you. We had 11 milliliter of one and 10 milliliter of the other. We changed 2 milliliter the first time, and then you start seeing dimensions. You have to be very observant from now on. You have, this is what I said 2 or 3 weeks ago, we have really entered the world of the plasma technology of the work of the universe. And you are first time touching it. You see it. Now, there is something very strange. You said, I feel it is with me. I tell you why it's with you, and then you tell me if I'm wrong or right. And I mentioned this many times. You did not take your CO2 from the bottom of the pot, did you? You put a syringe to clean it out or to suck it out. You have transferred some of the amino acid into your center tube or outer tube. So
I touched the water with the hand.
Yeah, it carries the fingerprint of you. You understand? So you have made a connection. We are, Bernie can tell you in the test I was talking to Ren a couple of days ago, that we make a transmission system, wireless transmission system of energy, which they're working on now. But we understand this. So I can make a radio which only works on my command, and I'm the only one who can hear it. Now you have that possibility in your hand. So when you make these systems and you're the only one who's been touching them, because when you made the caustic, you have disposed of most of any other fingerprint of the workers of the factory, the shopkeeper, and everything else. Now it's your amino acid, which is on the tube. You have made the fingerprint. So you might feel, oh, my system could be happy, or my system is sad, or my system is taking energy. But the strength of the energy which the system takes, you feel its emotion. If it's giving, is what we call a happy system. If it's taking, is what we call it, a system which needs feeding. So in now entering the true plasma technology, you start feeding these things. You make a connection because you touch it, you leave a fingerprint of your amino acid, and you can go to planet Zeus. You still will feel your system.
Yeah, I want to finish, Mr. Cash, and to say, when I see you 3 years ago, and I talk about what you said and that time, a lot of people laughing, you know, about what I'm saying. But what this MAGRAV is showing me right now, I know, I feel I can do much more, and I know it will be very easy to build a spaceship when will be with this type of
Okay.
pipes.
Let me explain to you. Let me explain to you. We take the teaching to the next step. You want to build a spaceship. It has to carry your emotion, the desire, and the control. I touched this in the previous teachings, but maybe now he brings it home to you. You say you feel the system. Now, if you use the protein of your blood, we always bleed. If you take a drop of your blood and take a drop of your lymph, yeah? When you cut, you see the white stuff coming out, the lymph.
Okay.
And place it on top of a cup and produce the gas water of it. You know, in the world of the science, you make a copy of the magnetic field now, the way you did with the orange, the same process.
I know.
Okay, now take a drop of that water and add into the gravitational of the inner ring and the magnetical of the outer ring. The system will send you what it needs and what it feels, and with your connection with the gravitational, you dictate positioning. Because it's the gravitational which dictates your positioning, what the magnetical can give. You understand?
Yeah.
In the center tube, you add the GANs in the center tube of the inner ring, but in the outer ring, you add it to the magnetical. So it has a physical dimension contact. When you make your spaceship's configuration of the star formation with your rings, then, yes, Wernie, don't leave anything there. We agreed you don't disclose anything. He says the car Maghreb unit system is on the test. When we have it working, we can confirm it. We will release.
Yes, I just answered the question so that they
don't answer. They tease you because they know you know too much.
I know, and it is on testing. It is true. It is on testing.
Yeah. Okay. So what happens? What you got to consider when you make these systems? Do not mix your lymph in all the or the blood in all the figures. You want to connect with the emotion, or you want to connect with the physicality. In one, you put the blood. In one, you put the gas water of the lymph.
Okay.
Lymph is the physical condition. Now you see all the teachings of the past in different parts come together. Now you understand you can configure it. So with your thought, with your emotion, you give the physicality to the core. In a way, with setting up the star formation in the same basis as you have done, you start developing a physical condition by the magnetical and the control of the position and in control of through your emotion, because you put the gas of your blood in it, in the center core, and then you got to understand that little orange ball you have inside in the center has to have the same composition, which means is controlled through your soul. It does not connect with the emotion. So you start seeing physical structures. And it's a physical structure to you because you have dictated terms with your blood. This goes back to the teaching which I explained to you. Races of the certain race can travel together in space. You cannot allow others to come in because they don't carry that gravitational magnetic field of the emotion and the soul to create the structural physical content of the man. You can have a party outside, but partying inside with them is impossible with some races because they don't carry that the strength of the field. So the next step for you will be to a drop of blood, use the gas water of it. If you understand, just place it on top of the water, create the gas water with the way it's done like an orange, and then you can do the whole structure. it is important to understand that we do not go in beyond the boundary of the understanding, and we extend the knowledge as long as you want to be able to do. There are parameters. You add a quarter of a milli CO2 copper oxide to all your rings, very small amount. Because maybe even you get a needle, just a drop of the needle, just a needle, a sharp needle, add in all the rings and even in your center. Because it carries your amino acid, it cannot create infection and conversion and evolution of the amino acid. You understand? So it's in a way you guarantee the environment stays disinfected. Yeah? This is what we were talking before.
Even right now, Mr. Cash, I can say is we talking and I sitting close to him, and he's like spinning, slowing, spinning. He have different types of different speeds, but you don't keep
this is what you feel, but it's not actually spinning. Does the gas material rotating in there? Can you see it?
No,
it's liquid.
I can't see anything, but I just I heard it, the engine a little bit, the fan.
Yeah. So you got to understand. This is what Armand was trying to explain. That this system you just showed with the plastic tube, and what I explained in go and listen to the teaching of last week with what I said you can do the glass tubes. If you put these in a rotation inside in a sphere, then it becomes like a solar system. You dictate what is going to be in the environment and where it's going to be. This is what Armand is developing. He says by next week he can show it.
I see his picture.
Yeah. So, and if you go back on what was shown last week and Bernie made a comment where those lights came in, I've asked Armand to do certain things in his system. We'll see when he shows next time. You can see the lights, same creation of the lights. Yeah, he will show it to us hopefully when he completes it. But in so many ways, you have to come to. You are growing very rapidly in this structure. I said people with a coil will stay with the coil, winding coils, and the people like you who come to the next step of the dynamic plasma, gas plasma, will go, and then part of other people will go into the field plasma. Because you still have a step to go. You need to go in a position when there is no matter. You cannot.
Also, it's much more easy, Mr. Cash.
Field plasma is creating the same energy, the same emotion, without any matter state. If I would have spoken about this, Gans, creating this condition a year ago, you wouldn't understand. Now you have it, you see it. Now the next step is the way we work in the. You look into the universe, you look into the sky, you look into the space of this galaxy. There is no water, but there is a lot of movement, creation of a lot of material on the condition of interaction of the field. This is the next step. But we have to be in this step to get to that step. And I estimate most probably some of you within the next few weeks will get there, but totally. But a lot of you, through what I said, the spaceship technology, what we do in the October on, will work mainly on the field. That's why rapidly you should be able to develop the systems. So be mature enough by then, and that's why I said at the beginning, we are looking about 1,000 people who want to become the man of space. You put it on, it's on, you can go and literally become, register to become, and you've seen the basis of the technology now. The next step, what you got to learn, you've done a perfect job. You nano-coded tube, means you understood the essence of the knowledge. But now, go back one step further. Maybe I can give you an insight into the field plasma. Go back and look at the ball in the center. Do you need to put any matter in that ball? Or would the creation of the matter state, which is the surface, will create the field flow in the ball that you can, with your thoughts, control, that you create the emotion and the field interaction. Do you understand?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Do you need to feed in the center any material? Or would the interaction of the rings, the way you set it up, delivers the gravitational field in the center, including your emotion? Do you understand? So
Yeah.
this is, then the ball becomes a field plasma. It's not anymore matter plasma because you have nothing in it. But because you have created the rotation of the fields in a matter state, now you have achieved the plasma inside without any material. Do you need to put that condition, or do you need to, this is what we call remove the material now that you created it? Look at this. The creation of the fundamental understanding of the center of the galaxies being dark, being the principal matter, is where the essential thing is there. In the center of a proton, a plasma proton, it's the same condition. So now, for the first time, if you understand, you use the matter state to contain the plasma. Now you use the plasma to contain the field. We're going to the next level of understanding. You created the matter to contain the gas, to contain the, what they call it, nanomaterial attached to it, the gas, and with the gas, you created the plasma filled with the water. Now, go a step further. Now we use the gas and the plasma to create three fields. It's the origin of the creation. Unified field comes from this. Now, you compress everything in that ball. You created the nano-coated, you could nano-coated that orange ball internally and externally. Now you don't need to put anything in it. It will contain the field. That's a field plasma without any matter. But the beauty of the knowledge of the man is that we understand we can control the plasma and the field with the containment of the matter state. So you use the matter to create the nano, you use the nano to create the gas, you use the gas to create the plasma. Now you use the plasma to use the fields of it. And in that ball is free plasma, free fields, no more plasma. But you have to understand the control of it. Do you need the liquid plasma, or you use the liquid plasma to create the field the way you use the gas to create the plasma? This is what we call field plasma. No matter, just confinement using matter to contain it. It's like a glass of water. You have a water is everywhere. You put a glass, so you contain it. Now you can use your rings the way you've done. You decide the combination of the fields you want in the ball, and you turn the ball to contain the fields. But because you have put the physical boundary as the ball, and then you have added the gravitational magnetic field of the tubes around it, you have contained the field. This is the field plasma in empty tube. But because in the GANs and in the, what I said, in the inner tube and outer tube, you put your blood and your lymph, now the same energy of the plasma is transferred into the center of the ball. You decide what comes out of that ball. You don't need water anymore.
I will be in the center, actually.
Pardon?
I will be with my saw in the centrum.
You understand it? So you don't need to fill up the plasma in the center. This is go back to the teaching of last week. I didn't put a ball. I put a pink color in the middle. That's what I said. This is the field plasma. Some understood. And those of you who didn't understand, you understand a little bit more now. And in the teachings you get and you develop it yourself. So we've gone from matter to the free fields. This is the way the universe works. The boundary of the galaxies, the boundary of the planets, the atmosphere, the physical matter of the planets or the star is actually a container for the free field in the center. You saw it in the transparent balls before, and I kept on going over it. This is a free plasma in the center. You created it. Now, you don't need the GANs to be with the water. You have created the water with the outer ring. You created with the inner ring. That cavity in the center, that empty space, is field plasma. And now, because you added your amino acid to it, you're in charge of it.
I can say, Mr. Cash.
Let me finish. If you create, as I said, a conditional, a slight difference, the only thing common will be between the 4 sets you set up is your amino acid. So you make one slightly different than the other, that you create a rotation. So the field in the center, which you create as a field plasma, has a common denominator, the field strength of your amino acid, which is your emotion, and you're the controller. Understand what I said. Listen to what I said in past 5 minutes. You'll understand the secret of the creation of the universe. Yeah? And then you
I can say, Mr. Cash, the technology what you brought to us is showing more if you go out of matter.
Of course, it's the essence. The matter is the weakest, is at the bottom.
Yeah.
You're happy to live in a village, we give you the earth. You want to live in the universe, use the field.
Correct, correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's beautiful.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cash. And I believe for 3 years ago, you are correct and everything, and I feel that and I see that with my eyes now, and yeah, it's so nice. Thank you so much, and I say hello for everybody.
Thank you very much indeed. Werner, would you like to add anything to this? Because you're becoming a master in this.
I have nothing to add, Mr. Cash.
You learned something now, you know how to set up your system you were showing me this morning?
Yes.
Do you need a plasma in the center bottle?
Actually, Mr. Cash, I've tried not using anything at all, and it still works.
Yep.
Yeah.
You don't need it. Hopefully you show us more. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cash.
Thank you. Is there anything, Arman, you want to add? Arman is asleep. You fell asleep. No problem. Any other question? The time is nearly...
Mr.
Cash, this is Heather, USA.
Hello, Heather. Hi.
Hello. I have a chart that I've just started putting some of the research results from my set of.
Pardon? Can you repeat, please?
Yes, I did. I'm starting a little research study with the GANS packs. Remember, I have sent out 10 of the GANS patches and the water patches to some of my multidimensionally aware friends, and I'm getting some preliminary results. And I did put together a little bit of a chart on some of the frequency measurements that may be interesting, and I wanted your input on that.
Carry on. See
okay. I can share the screen then. I brought that up. Let me make sure that it's covering my screen appropriately. There we go. Now this is a method with something called SRT. So it's not like an oscilloscope measuring frequency. It is a technique using a pendulum to test frequencies. And there's a friend of mine that's quite adept at doing this. He's been doing it for, I think, 30, 40 years, who did these measurements based on the patches that I sent him. So on the chart there, did I share the screen appropriately? You can see that?
Yeah, we can see.
So on his scale, the average human falls, it says over here in the blue, on his scale, the average human falls about 3,000 to 6,000 hertz. You know, and the other end of the scale would be a Christed Buddha master type being would be at 28,000 hertz. And he was quite astonished when he tested the patches and the frequencies he came up with. And those are the numbers that he came up with for those. So the top set are the ones that have GANs in them, and the bottom set are the ones that are only the plasma water with no GANs. And they reflect the exact same frequency.
Does it mean that it touches the soul of the man?
Oh, yeah. It's very close to the, the love
Can you
frequency.
explain to me what is QS or SQ?
Where is that? QSSQ.
In these measurements?
Looking for that information there.
What is a QE? Do you understand what is a QE?
Is that something you're seeing on my page here?
No.
Okay.
What you show there, I'm trying to ask you a question which is connected to this.
Okay.
You don't know? Okay, no problem. Carry on.
Okay, the frequency measurement, he says, is in hertz. It's the way that he measures a person's soul calibration. He can measure, the frequency of a herbal essence, or a person, or a, like, say, the earth at a certain time period. It's used for many different things. But since I was talking to him about other things, I'd sent him these and let him check them out. So I was wanting to show those to you and see, you were asking about different kinds of measurements. People have been looking at the field effect.
We have some indications. I was looking at somewhere in something on one of the teachings or one of the talks that somebody said the only way to see the performance of the MAGRAV units is using oscilloscope, and nothing else can show anything. So what you're telling us is the same, but oscilloscope only shows when the strength is reduced to the matter state vibration. And this is what you're saying. It's very strange what you put in there. In past, just half an hour before I come online, just teaching, I saw something very similar to what is written there. Very, very similar in the strength of what you call Christ and Buddha, and the strength of. But what I'll be interested is to know, anybody knows what a QS is or SQ is?
Do you know what are the words that go with those?
With respect to the intelligence or the behavior. You have an IQ.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you have an IQ, and I'll be very interested to know anybody knows about that. Thank you very much for showing us.
You're welcome.
Our Norwegian friends been waiting for 2 weeks. We couldn't get them on. Do you want to show the video, please, Rick? Or is there any other question before we go to this? Are there any other questions?
Mr. Kesh, I am back. You were asking for me.
No, I said, is there anything you want to add to the knowledge?
I will add next week, show a lot.
Ah, promises. You should have taken a picture of your finger. We would have seen it. It's very interesting.
I have it.
You photographed it all the time?
Not today, but I have a few days ago.
Ah, okay. No problem.
When it been cut.
You took a picture of it. You could see your bone.
Yeah.
And now there is nothing left?
There is nothing there. It's all healed.
In what?
9
days?
days?
9 days?
Today, 9 days, yes. Fully healed.
Yeah, I saw it. You showed it to me on the camera. Is there anything you want to add? Because you are testing on the other end.
No, I will show and explain next week. I have a lot to show.
Thank you very much, Alan.
Yeah.
Mr. Kesh, Vivek from Singapore.
Yes.
You were talking about SQ just now. I just looked it up. IQ is the intelligence quotient, EQ is emotional quotient, and SQ is spiritual quotient. That's what I was able to find.
The
spiritual quotient.
And the other one was?
Emotional quotient, EQ. And IQ is intelligence quotient.
And how bad is how high?
Still looking for that, actually. One moment, I'll come back. I'll look for it and come back.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other
So,
questions?
so Mr. Kesh, you wanted to show that 30-minute video that we have from
Ooh, 30 minutes.
Pardon me?
30 minutes.
Yes, 30 minutes total.
What is it on?
Oh, perhaps I think there. I just saw Monique, I believe, was just on camera there. Maybe she can explain a bit about it before we show it. Or is Thorjan there? Hello.
Hi, this is Oslo. Good morning.
Hi.
We made this 35-minute presentation because it displays all the various MAGRAV units that Torbjörn built, which various quantities of coils, and also the health unit. And it explains how we live daily in our plasma bubble, so to speak. We are living in a complete plasmatic environment, and it's beautiful. And Torbjörn really summarized it very well in this presentation, actually. Mr. Kesh?
Yes, listening.
I don't think I have very much more to add. I think it's much easier just to watch it.
Okay, is that okay, Mr. Kesh?
Can we split it in 2 or 3 sections in the next 2 or 3 weeks to see it in parts and half an hour in one go?
To see like 10 minutes at a time, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, we could.
Oh, yes, of course. It's up to you. I mean, we handed it out to you. It's for your decision, Mr. Kesh, of course.
No, it's us. If there's any more, if we don't have any more, we can carry on.
Hi, Caroline.
Yeah, she's here.
I see the dog too.
You see the doctor. Yeah, he's the mascot. He's everywhere. He's got the soul of the man, the dog. Okay, can we go ahead?
Mr. Kesha, this is John here.
Yes, sir.
Yes, when you talked about the cancer patches, you said we had to use GANs, or do we have to use liquid water GANs?
You can do both. Renan, are you online?
Yes, Mr. Kesh.
Could you explain to John regarding the patches you make with the water of the GANs and their effectiveness, please?
Okay. There.
Them or something in the Philippines?
Yes, the patches. There's different ways to use the patches. So the patches using the liquid plasma or the water of the GANs can be utilized just by putting it in the plastic bag and or in a tissue paper and wet the tissue paper so it will be spread basically around the patch to get a greater space. And if you want, as Mr. Kesh was explaining about the cancer, you need a high dose of not only the water but also with the GANs if it's in case of cancer. But we can try if having plenty of layers, so 3 to 5 or 6 layers of patch, which was inserted, as Mr. Kesh has shown that before, you can insert them inside different plastic bags, layer by layer, with different. So there will be divisions in between, and then can be used as to put wherever you want to put in a certain area of the cancer or tumor. Here in also we use the patches to have inflammation, even using CO2 patches alone, but in 3 to 5 or 6 layers of patches inside, and we put to the certain inflammation. The inflammation reduces very quick, or even the burns and everything. So you can just utilize it through creating layers. So also the use of CH3 and the use of copper oxide are also important. As we know, it depends on if there are bigger infections, we can use one layer of copper oxide in the middle as well, just to remove such infections in certain areas of the wound. So we don't directly put it in case of open wounds. We just wrap the wound, clean the wound in a layer with a soft bandage, and then we envelope with the patch. So instead of directing it towards the skin so that the wound won't be directly sticking on the plastic, so it can still breathe. So you can play around in layering. So you can use the water, which is very economical, and you can have only one source of GANs that you mix. So the water of the GANs of your CO2 with all the composite fruits and GANs that you like to use, or just the pure zinc oxide, zinc oxide, CO2 GANs water that can really relieve the pain. So both ways they all work. And if you want to make it quicker, we have also tried guns using your pens. If you have your pens, use your patch, and if you want to direct it to the pain or direct it to any element, use your pens just to direct the fields of the guns. So the patch you have becomes the filter or the energy source of the pen that will push towards magnetically to the area or pull the energy that you want. So they go together. So it is important that you know how to use your pens and patches together to have a faster and quicker way to process different ailments. That's all, Mr. Cash.
Thank you very much. Let's add to the knowledge slightly before we see this video. A lot of you are
Could I add something else?
Thank you, John.
Could I add something else? Because
Yes.
yesterday I bought some cotton cloth to be able to put the paper, which I put the water GANs, and I also add a bit of the CO2 GANs to it. But put the cloth around the paper and that into the plastic bag. Now, these days, somebody mentioned that if all the water evaporated from the paper, we had to the patch wouldn't work anymore. Is this true?
No, the patch now has got a dry GANs in it. The information, the energy is on the dry GANs.
That's what I.
Yeah.
Now, I would like to add something else there for the Philippines. When you got an open wound, the best thing you can use for a wound is the urine of the person. That seals the wound very much faster than anything else.
The other thing which I would like to ask and to add in the knowledge that it might surprise a lot of you, as we are going away from the matter state into the GANs state, plasma, liquid plasma, and energy transfer. The next step for you to make the pens, the paint pens, is to fill the pen without any nano-coated material with the GANs water of the matter state. Which means now you can add just the GANs of CO2 into the pen without any matter state, or the water of the GANs of CO2. Or you can add copper oxide or CH3. So you don't need to make the coils anymore to put in, but the coils have a different purpose, they work different. But if you use the same pen and fill it up with a liquid GANs or liquid, what we call the liquid plasma of the GANs, you have a new system. Much more effective, and you do not need to go into creating the coils and all the coil matters. So,
and what end? Then they don't have an end to it. You can use both ends.
it has an end. It has to be focused in energy. You need to be able to focus on the energy. That energy has a direction, and the body of the fields will direct it. One of the ways to do is to just add small amount, maybe just the tip of the finger, or what they call it, pen, of like a CO2 gas into the pen that is sits at the bottom at the tip, which focuses all the energy into one direction. So we can move away from the coils, but the coils are still needed in the way we are doing it, and just to make the liquid, what we call plasma pens. And in the future, we go back to the same process of the field plasma pens. These pens will be very, very effective, extremely effective. And I think some of you who will try it will tell us very soon now that you know what to do. Use the gas water as a pen. It has to be focused and just a drop, a small amount of the gas that it pulls the energy to where it needs to be. Those of you who suffer from, let's say, tumor cancers, big tumors, use the same pen but a drop of lead oxide gas water, and the lead oxide itself on the tip, just the tip of the pen, just a drop in, it'll sink in. It has the gravitational field force, and then in the matter of the condition is a receiver. So literally you suck fields out of the tumor. And this technology we teach in a very different, effective way for all cancers in the coming day to the doctors. This is a very effective way. It's the next step in evolution of the technology development. And it should be very easy for you all to do. Then you don't need to make the coils, but understand, do not, under no circumstances, mix different things with these pens, because you can create a havoc with yourself. So if you enter your pens, or when you make a new pens, make always a gans of CO2, a gans of zinc, the water of the gans of zinc and water of gans of CO2, and a drop of copper oxide, or just a needle drop of lead if you're trying to extract energy from a tumor. Do not use lead in conjunction with pain. You have to bring your balance. A tumor is a solid, you have to match it. And against a small gans of lead, especially if you like to interact with the body of a man, sulfur. A small amount of sulfur will drain the system from it. Phosphor, never use, because then you touch the DNA. So now you can start building the liquid plasma pens, which are much more effective than the gas pens, what do you call it, the pens with nanofoils. Okay, let's have a look at this video, please.
Cheche, you were talking about the pen. Could we add a grain of sand to the tip of the pen so it will act as a crystal?
You can do all sorts of things, but you have to understand what the crystal does. You have to understand what kind of crystals you use. From now on, you enter a very delicate, nilly-willy jobs will not do the job. Has to be understood fully what you're doing. Okay, let's look what it is there, and then if there is no question, we wind up the day. What's the time now, please? 12:30. Okay, let's have a look. Rick, please.
I can hear Mr. Kemp. Okay, there's background interference. Let me just make sure. I think we're okay there now. Okay, let's see if make sure the sound works here.
Hello, this is Torbjørn Morstad from Norway. Since I'm an artist, I was thinking maybe it would be interesting to see the connections, if there is any, from art to the plasma world. This painting I discovered while I was doing it, that I only needed 3 colors. So Da Vinci was aware about the difference between chemistry and alchemy. If you put zinc GANs, copper GANs and iron GANs into this, you might get some connections to the whole process of the depth in or the mystical size of plasma technology linked with art, compositions with geometry, the knowledge of how you make a pair on a visual level, different effects using cold and hot in a very interesting way. Yeah, this is going to be a fast presentation of the MAGRAV units that I built. This is the number 1, and I made a little frame here, and the glass. Here is my capacitors. This is a typical 3 stacker, and I used Christmas decoration balls inside in the Gans grave. And on the load side I have a lamp connected, and to the heating system, the oven behind me here. And this third one is the usage for all my tools and computers and so on. It's working very well. This is box number 2, MAGRAV unit number 2. I made this little smaller one. I had some coils here and there, and I put all the coils together. It's a 5 stacker with a bit stronger capacitors. And same thing here on the load side with the lamp and the oven. And I added a crystal boring a hole straight through the wood. It's a very powerful one as well. Up and running. Ready. This is box number 3. It's a bigger construction altogether. It's a 6 stacker. Same principle with the glass in front. And larger capacitors. And the same principle with the Gans grave, with the Christmas decoration balls as in the Gans grave. This one is very powerful, up and running with the same principle with the lamp on the load side and the oven connected, and the third one is for all the computers and loading for batteries, mobiles and so on. Yeah. Yeah. This is the 4th box that I built with some with wood of a better quality. But this is the most special I have built. It seems to be much stronger than the 3 others because of the split coils that are connected to the coils. Here again we have a bit stronger capacitors, and I realized I could put 2220 watt straight through the load side in 3 minutes, and the coils, and there was no reaction. So it seems it's been like that for a month and a half, and they don't seem to react on anything. And the others one are taking a bit heat on the coils, but this one is just neutral. So I guess I could put much more on the load side. It's a very special box, and people have some kind of connection with them as well on an interesting dialogue level. So this is my presentation for the MH unit, Maghreb Health Unit, and I wanted to explain the procedure in the technical, as much technical explanations as possible. So I was afraid to forget the details, but I remember I started with the plexi plate here and the drawings. I made some drawings with the filled pen to get the distances between the superconductors, the coils, and the placement of all the plasma batteries. And I was adding to the blueprint from the Philippines, 1 inch north and south, so that it could fit better to a more Scandinavian anatomic structure. In the Philippines are a bit smaller in size. And so I choose to make 5 superconductors on each side, and there is 2 different constructions to this, or rather connections, where you have the direct connection to the plasma batteries, the superconductors to the plasma batteries, and then the second construction is connection is from the plasma battery to the plus and minus side. And the plasma batteries on the 5 fields from blueprint as well. I choose to have a 9 spin on the magnetic field, and use the rather thick electric wire, usual electric wire, nano-coated, with a cover, a plastic cover, all the way through the gravitation field. There is 173 spin here on the outer coil, and 109 on the inner coil. And I used the particularly, I used the saw and particularly tool to create, or rather cut the holes in the plastic with this pen. It's very, very useful. It's getting extremely hot, and it cuts right through. It's very good to use this for the curves, for the inner coil. This is André, a colleague. I'm a huge plasma energy fan. He's about to test his walls, the Maghreb Health Unit, and yeah, I just want to tell that from the beginning. It's easy to feel energy of these walls. I don't know what exactly how to explain the energy of these walls, but you can easily sense that something's going on here. And it's like a tingling sensations. And after 30 seconds maybe, I felt kind of weird sensations in my head, but it's pretty interesting what is going on here. And these walls, you have to put the helmet on. Oh yeah, I need to try this helmet also. This direction, yeah? Okay, let's try this one. I'm feeling like in the Back to the Future. Wow. Now I can fly away. It's pretty heavy. I don't know how exactly describe sensations of these walls.
You are not ill per se.
Yes, I'm thinking like I'm not, but the thing is that in the same time you are not feeling anything and you are feeling something. And sensations of these walls, they are like it's very calm energy, but in the same time you can feel like this is very active energy, and it's very weird energy. I mean, very weird, unusual energy, but the thing is that it's working for 100%. I need to spend more time here to have something more to say, but it's totally different from my past experiences. And the energies of these walls is bringing peace. Yeah, it's bringing peace to my body. It's only the way I can describe it. Maybe I can turn around.
Can you feel that if there's a difference between the two walls? The sensation?
I think like kind of different energies are flowing, but it's really hard to explain.
This is a hand release pencil.
Okay.
Can you feel this from this distance?
It's like tickling on the skin, like very softly and very gentle touch. And actually I felt something like when you moved to this one here, like I felt my bone. That's weird. But maybe it's that because this plasma energy is getting through everything and it scans body.
This is a very young technology so far. We're going to have a lot of experience with them.
Yeah, I hope, and I think that this is gonna be a good experience mostly because really this energy is it's really bringing a peace and calm to your body. I would love to say 1,000 of words how to describe it, but it's like consciousness itself.
it's like conscious energy. And in some way I'm very happy that I'm standing here. It's unexplainable, but really I'm feeling good when I'm here. I'm curious, very curious how it's gonna be if I will stay here for 15 minutes or something. But I will tell you about my experience after this. Yeah, we'll see.
Okay. Thank you, Andre.
Thanks, guys.
One, blast off. So I wanted to have an explanation to how I made the plasma batteries.
Mr. Kesh, we're at the 15-minute mark now of this video. Maybe maybe you'd like to stop.
We'll look at it next week. But that was the system, the medical system, which they have produced. And it'll be interesting now that we saw from Romania the GANS coil version of it, how we will proceed to the new system. And then we evolve into the plasma. These coils are beautiful, now done by a number of people around the world. This has limitations of where the other system will not have a limitation of, by producing coil gases. And we've seen the pictures from China, we've seen the Chinese from Vienna or Austria, and we've seen one in Spain, or sorry, in Mexico. They are coming up in all over the places, but now the next step, as we've seen today, is to go to the next step. A lot of people will develop these things and will start using it. These systems are going to be used by doctors in the coming weeks. Is there any questions?
Well, we did have a question, let me get back to it here, from someone it's not related to this, but someone that was in the Dubai Peace Conference, and the name is Light, asking about the defense technology. They want to collaborate with the Indian defense technologies, and are wondering, is it the same criteria for manufacturing? If
we don't, the defense, that if you are in that case, you will talk to the government, the military. We won't allow defense technology companies to come in to create a market to kill more. We talk because within the military structures there are supporters of peace, as we have found in Chinese military, and we support them fully. Other people who come in their defense for what to defend want, to create more mayhem. There is no need for defense technology. Space technology is for deeper space, and we don't need a defense technology. It doesn't matter where it comes from.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Okay, well, we're almost into 4 hours here, so there's probably some other questions, but perhaps we should call it close for now.
Yeah, if we go on the camera, the most important things I think we can take from today is that we have opened the door of the space to man. If you want to be the first passengers of the space through the understanding of new technology for a peaceful application, please go on the foundation website. A lot of people wanted to be the first passengers. Now this is your chance. Don't forget that we are not here to create another condition of elite space people. We are here for the first generation. We will make mistakes, we will make development of the people who want to be the first generation of people in mass into space. So what you've been waiting for to become the first passengers, the door is open today. We promised in 2016 we will do and you've seen the evolution of the technology in the past few weeks. So go on the website, commit humanity to peaceful space, and we see, as I just said, we don't need a defense. We're there to create a condition for it. On the other hand, as I said, we start part of the space development, spaceship teaching in the Rome conference, in the Rome meeting, as one nation, one planet, one race. The second conference not only is for the Universal Council, but the parameters of the work of the Council will be set, and at the same time, we most probably choose the first group of people who will become the people in the space. It's important that we lay the rules. We will not interfere with no government borders. We will not interfere cross-bordering. We will sit within terms of the conditions of the international regulations. We will fly, and when we fly, we allow the others to see the flight, but will not allow interference. It is important that we set this very clearly. We will cross the international borders through the system as one nation, so we don't have nationals. This will have to be settled very rapidly with the government, as we don't fall in the trap, is our nation, what the Russians did to the Americans for the first flight. They will not allow the first flight to take over because they said it's crossing our territory, but they built the first system themselves and then they flew it. This time we fly all together and we do not accept international borders because we do not interfere or enter international borders. It's one nation. We work as one team. We welcome, as you will see, number of the military and the space people on and part of the group. So please make very clear, we do heavy vetting, we have to. There was a question about the students' application form being heavily questioned. The application for the students' online teachings will be cleared very rapidly to a very simple, as long as you commit yourself to peace agreement as a peace contract and you do not cross the boundaries. We'll reduce it to names and a couple of references because on the teachings there has to be some checking. But those of you who become part of the space development technology, please understand, as we have officials from governments, they'll be vetting you who's sitting next to their high-ranking people. So we open the space technology to humanity. Go online, register yourself. You wanted to be in the space and the training. It won't last more than 3 months. We don't see you needing more than 3 months to become the pastor of space. You don't need any life jackets and you won't carry any, what do you call it, backpack oxygen packs. You'll be traveling at a gravitational field strength, and by that time we get to there, majority of you will understand most of the technology. So we are proud to announce the opening of a space through the space technology, and we'll see where we go. And as I said, there's a very limited space for Rome conference, and that will be the prelude and the beginning of the start of the teaching of the spaceship technology for a space. And as I said, we open the doors with a hotel that you can be there, you can bring your systems. We might show some flight system technology and the rest of it. Thank you very much for today, and hopefully we see you on Tuesday as part of the international teaching, and we'll see what other scientists will bring on the table for us. Thank you, Rick. Thanks, Rick. In the background.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kesh. Thank you. It was great information today.
Thank you, Mr. Kesh.
I think
Thank you, Mr. Kesh.
Armand, you're going to be the first captain, huh?
Why me?
You always headed everything first.
2 words that I learned from Mr. Kesh. Why not?
Why not?
I am no hurry.
We can't get him out of Los Angeles. Now you want to send him into space. All the best. Thank you very much.
Well, we do all look up to Armin quite a bit, so I think that would be a good shot.
Pardon?
We all look up to Armin quite a bit, so I think that he would be a good representative.
You're quite welcome. You can all join in to become the representative of man in space. We promised by 2016 we do, and we are on course, and we will do. We achieve it. Thank you very much. See you later.
All right,
Bye.
thank you, Mr. Kesh. And that's the end of the 112th Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Kesh Foundation Spaceship Institute. And as ever and forever, thank you everyone for attending.
The Q&A session will be starting at